on the outside of your home, the brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Planning for peace talks. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. U.S. National Security Advisor Michael Waltz speaking with the Chief of Staff for Ukraine's president today to discuss the next steps toward a peace agreement for Ukraine. Waltz telling Fox and Friends.
This is going to be a tough shuttle diplomacy, but both sides have to enter into it. And, that's what Friday put into question. I think we're moving in a positive direction now.
Friday was the tense White House confrontation between Presidents Trump and Zelensky, which the Ukraine president now calls regrettable. He says he expects positive results from cooperation with the United States by next week. The U.S. Supreme Court ruling 5-4 today, refusing to reverse a lower court order that the Trump administration must restore $2 billion in foreign aid payments canceled when the U.S. Agency for International Development was closed. Most of the funds in questions reported to be reimbursements for work that had already been done. An unnamed source says the Internal Revenue Service is drafting plans to cut its workforce in half, part of the administration's plans to shrink the size of the federal government. Former IRS Commissioner John Koskinen says cutting tens of thousands of people would render the IRS dysfunctional. There may be some changes coming to President Trump's 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico.
The Commerce Secretary is saying that he is having a meeting with the president, and the president really wants to find ways to give certain sectors in Canada some relief from tariffs. And President Trump making the point that his tariffs are actually working at this point. He said there might be a little disturbance, but reassured Americans it won't be that bad. The president explained that we must stop the flow of fentanyl to cross the borders, which results in Americans' deaths.
It's Edward Lawrence of the Fox Business Network. Wall Street seems to be recovering from what's been a tough week so far. The Dow trading more than 309 points higher. The Nasdaq up 168 points. The S&P 500 up 38. America is listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Strong and gusty winds continue all afternoon with a wind advisory in effect until 6 o'clock. Some of the wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Also, there'll be bands of rain showers mixed with snow burst. You get caught in the burst, visibility goes down to 0 very quickly. 45 tonight, slow clearing but still windy and cold, 29 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. If you're thinking about selling your home, I know you have a ton of questions. Fact is, selling your home in this real estate market isn't as easy as it used to be. Just look at the headlines. One small mistake can cost you thousands. So before you sell, take a few minutes and get to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, just like I have. She is St. Louis real estate expert. I've been telling you about Gloria for over 5 years now. She has written guarantees that'll give you certainty and the most money in today's uncertain market. And you're always in the driver's seat. You know exactly how much you'll make on the sale of your home from the very start. That's because Gloria will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or Gloria will buy it. Take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Again, that's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Choose Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil, formulated for today's engines, only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic or a MicroGuard Select filter for just $32.99 in-store only. Limits apply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
He's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do it. Find a new strategy.
Joy Behar says, well, maybe we have a different definition of a mandate. Bro lays out county after swing state after popular vote in decades' time. And Joy Behar's like, well, I just think mandate means something different. She probably thinks it's sexist.
He took away most of those arguments, though.
Not to her.
He was taking away every gender argument, every race argument.
Donald Trump last night, in his joint address to Congress, gave a State of the Union. He has, just like Joy Behar says, I enjoyed that from the very beginning that clip started playing. he's been in office for 6 weeks, but it feels like 6 years already. My goodness, like she can't handle it. We are into this 6 weeks. We've got a lot of ground to cover yet here. And basically, Stephen A. Smith is who you just heard speaking there, who was on The View. And he has been touting this from when the campaign was still going on, from when the election was still taking place, saying like, Democrats, whatever this is, this ain't it. Whatever you're thinking that you're hitting out of the park right now, you're swinging and missing, and you don't even realize it. He has said on his, is it a podcast? I think it's a podcast. He has said, you know what? I don't know who the Democrats have picked to take over for this party. Maybe it should be me. He has casually thrown his name out there to be the guy who gets the Democratic Party back on track because he knows that the cuckoo birds on The View are so far gone. They are gone. They are non-recoverable, unrecoverable, disrecoverable. Which one is it? Unrecoverable?
Yeah, I don't think it's dis.
I'm just throwing it out there for effect. That may be one of the first two ones I said.
It's either dis or dat.
Dad? That The View represents a certain element of this Democratic Party, and we saw it last night at the joint address. Now, we're going to talk about the joint address today. We're not going to talk the entire show about the joint address today, but we have Kayleigh McEnany coming on in about 15 minutes. Very excited to have her on the show to get her thoughts on what next. Donald Trump has laid out a lot of progress over the course of 6 weeks in office. We've done this, we've done that, we've done this, we've done that, over and over and over again. You can assess what took place last night in several different ways, and they're valid ways. The first is the speech. Donald Trump goes up there, delivers the speech, gives receipts of things that they are done. And I have the reason why I wanted to go back, and I put this on X, I just went back and listened to the speech. I listened to it at 2 times the speed. I don't know if you were in here when it happened, but Brad was in here and Ethan was in here. But the funniest part was when the Republicans would start a USA chant or a Trump chant, or at the end of fight chant, it's like fight, 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 when it's 2 times the speed.
No, I didn't hear that.
They're like super enthusiastic. There is such positivity, such tangible energy on the right side of the aisle right now. The other part, if you want, like I said, we can discuss the speech. We can talk about how he delivered it, what he decided to highlight. And what I heard was, we're doing all of these positive things, and we are going back to the question about what was discussed there on The View. Was Donald Trump given a mandate? Because if you listened to him last night, he wasn't even asking the question. A few times he reminded the people who were listening, I have a mandate, and you better believe I am going to use every single square inch of that mandate on behalf of the American people. At one point, he talks about the presidency as our presidency. And he clearly is focused on this swath of policies he wants to be implemented, wrongs that he wants to right, things that he wants to do that he has had to have been stewing on for years now. Stewing on, yes, as we've seen many times before, when he gets the opportunity to talk about 2020, he has a thing. He goes through the spiel. You know what he's going to say. He goes through the different stories. Since 2020, when he lost that election, when he didn't become the president once again, he has had that time to think about what was happening in his absence, what would be done in his presence. And in the midst of all of that, they decided to try to attack him. They tried to tear him down. They tried to kill him. Which is why he has 0 fudge brownies given when he's standing up at that podium with J.D. Vance, everybody's dad in church, sitting up there. When the kids are getting out of line, you give them the look. And when they get too out of line, do you want me to take you out of church? Do you want to go out? Because you know what's going to happen if I take you out of church. And some of them are like, yeah, I'd like to go. I'd like to challenge you, Dad. And then they get bounced. And Mike Johnson just sits back there. I think he's kind of like a robot. He's so mechanical. He's a lawyer. He seems like a money guy to me. He seems like somebody who is very analytical, and the politics part of it, he's a genuine guy. but he's not really animated. You can't tell on his person when he's sitting back there. He's really good at the politics part of it. You can't really tell his personality or his character really by what he's just doing the right things because that's what you're supposed to do. JD Vance, you know who JD Vance is when you watch him sit there. He's like doing the slow head tilt, looking up out of the top of his eyes at the doofuses in the Democrat Party who are being obnoxious. He's like fist pumping when things are going really well. It's like watching a sporting event with JD Vance. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful to take in. I watched it last night for everybody who joined us on the YouTube live stream. Thank you for doing that. I put that up and I was helping with a science fair project, which was the priority last night with my daughter to make sure that she had the help that she wanted to get that done. But we had the stream going and, I listened. I was like 80% focused on what was being said. So I went back and I listened to it and it was even better the second time. What'd you think, Brian?
I had no expectations going into this speech because we have seen so much of Trump that it wasn't like, ooh, we get to hear from the president. We get to hear from the president every day. And in fact, he's so entertaining or engaging or whatever you want to say to listen to, even if you hate him. He's like a magnet. You listen to him. That Fox News, runs full briefings of stuff that probably every president, maybe not Joe Biden, but most presidents do. And yet he's able to make it kind of entertaining, and so you want to watch it. So going into the speech, I wasn't really expecting much because I thought, well, I already know what we're dealing with here. And he still kind of hit a home run to me. I mean, it was a good speech.
Yeah, it was a really great speech. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is, does President Trump have a mandate from the American people? Yes or no? If you just listen to that clip from the View with Stephen A. Smith, the View would like to redefine the word mandate so they can say he doesn't have it. Stephen A. Smith clearly lays out that he thinks that the Trump administration does. Listen to this speech, or this part of the speech last night, where Donald Trump talks about the popular vote.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
So this is when Al Green stands up, shakes his cane. You can't even make this stuff up. He's shaking his cane at Donald Trump. This is very telling, and it's going to get looked over quite a bit with the Al Green shenanigans. They can't accept that he won the popular vote. They still, 6 weeks in, all of these things that Donald Trump is saying he's doing, has done, or will do, they have not yet, as of March 5th, the great irony of it, accepted the results of the last election. They can't handle it. It turns their stomach. They put their hands over their ears and they say, la, 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 I'm not listening. And then they just pretend as though reality is something that they prefer. They pretend as though what is real is fantasy and what their fantasy is real. And in the midst of all of this, when Donald Trump says that he won the popular vote, and they're pushing back on it, as long as that's the way the Democrat Party wants to operate, they'll never win again. Not in any capacity because they embarrassed themselves last night. The Democrat Party, above all else, not surprising to me, maybe not surprising to you, this Democrat Party, which has no true north to follow, cares only about the Democrat Party to the peril of the Democratic Party. They don't have a focused understanding of what Americans are dealing with, how we want our country to be managed, how we want our country to be respected. They don't get it. And when the American people say, in my opinion, with great mandate, it's one thing to look at, we won all the swing states. That's crazy that he won all the swing states. It's another thing. It's 89% of counties in our country shifted Republican.
That's what the latest stat says, yeah.
That's wild. Donald Trump comes back and wins the popular vote after being slandered and ridiculed and shot at for the last 15 years, 10 years that he's been on the political scene, and he has gained this support in the worst, most challenging climate that could possibly have existed. And I think the reason why The left can't really stomach it. I think the reason why the Democrats sit and turn their heads towards their phones and scroll social media while children with brain cancer, who have beaten brain cancer, are honored in the people's house. The reason why they can't avert their eyes from scrolling some social media feed on their phone to acknowledge the moment that is an American moment is because they don't know how to win anymore. They could only win when they would cheat. And yeah, you could talk to Donald Trump about what happened in 2020. That's not the cheating I'm talking about. I'm talking about the deep state. I'm talking about the bureaucracy. I'm talking about the tentacles of the swamp that have made their way into Washington, D.C. to ensure that nothing like this would ever happen again. They fortified themselves from having to compete. They wrapped the media up into it. They made sure that the message and the messenger were always in lockstep, pre-laundered before it ever gets to you via the way they tell stories and which stories they choose to tell and which ones will never see the light of day. They rigged the system, and they were doing so well at it that all of their muscles have atrophied. They don't understand how to compete, and they certainly don't understand how to win, so much so they can't even believe that they lost. And they lost in such a glorious way that it can't be doubted. It can't be challenged. And for them, they can't even accept it. Which ironically will lead to more peril for them in the future. And also, somewhat ironically, lead to more American greatness in the future. As long as this version of this Democratic Party is not near the reins of power, we will head back into American greatness. And last night was a great example of it. An amazing speech by President Donald Trump, an absolute shameful display by Democrats who won't even acknowledge the victory that Donald Trump won, which is rich after the last 4 years. But in the meantime, it's not going to slow Trump down one bit. Kayleigh McEnany is going to join us when we come back. She is, of course, the co-host of Outnumbered on Fox. She's a former White House press secretary. She's got books out that are great. I highly recommend them, including Serenity in the Storm. We're going to ask her about her reaction to the joint address to Congress, or as I put it last night, the State of the Union-ish from Donald Trump yesterday evening. Kayleigh McEnany, next.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
STS-Armory.com. That's the website, but go visit STS Armory in their beautiful new building in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. They have you covered everything Second Amendment. It's even kind of broader than the Second Amendment. Preparedness, making sure that you have safety and security in your home. You want to go to STS-Armory.com to kind of get the lay of the land and see some of the things that they do there. But it's more than just like the tangibles, the physical, the products. They have a service. They teach classes. And these classes are must-take classes for anybody who is looking to conceal and carry. Of course, you're going to need to get into a class and get qualified for all of that. They teach those classes, and they are very, very helpful. I kind of dread going to those things. When I went to my renewal class with Katie and Jesse Johnson at STS Armory last November, at the end, I was like, that was great. And my husband and I were talking about it all the way home. They're so helpful, they're so knowledgeable, and they are yours in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. Also online at STS-Armory.com.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly. It's all through Medicaid, and as a St. Louis resident, it's 100% free to you. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area, this service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-697-4912. 314-697-4912. That's 314-697-4912.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Underdog Fantasy, and from fast breaks to buzzer beaters to block parties, there's nothing as exciting as basketball. With Underdog, you can bring that excitement to wherever you watch. Playing on their app is as easy as choosing higher or lower on a player's stats, like threes made, points, rebounds, and more. Get those selections right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Millions of fans have won billions on Underdog. Will you be next? Join in on the fun by signing up for Underdog today using the promo code MARKR, and you'll get a free selection as part of your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. It's really easy. It's a lot of fun. You can make basketball picks. You can also create entries with other sports like the NHL, mix and match. You make the call. It's a lot of fun. Do not miss out. But again, when you sign up, don't forget to use the promo code MARKR, M-A-R-K-R. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
There's Donald Trump last night at the joint address to Congress. And I mean, boy, that kind of sums up the whole thing, doesn't it? 6 weeks in the presidency. And while it's not traditionally a State of the Union, it's kind of amazing that he was able to say so many things that his administration has done so far. It sure sounded like a State of the Union. Let's talk to Kayleigh McEnany, who joins us once again, co-host of Outnumbered on Fox. Welcome back to the show, Kayleigh. Such a pleasure to have you on this day.
Hey, Annie, great to be here.
Thank you. I want to give you the opportunity to react to the speech last night. Donald Trump, of course, the Democrats. What were your big takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the Democrats closely. I knew President Trump would deliver an incredible address, and he did. It was interesting. It was a little different than past addresses. He added in some humor. I thought it was very well done. But the Democrats, I thought perhaps they'd be a bit more measured because Nancy Pelosi had warned everyone to not be grist in the mill, in her words. You had James Carville saying, it's time to play possum or play dead and find the right moment to perk up. And then last night, they went ballistic. I saw them not stand for a pediatric cancer patient, a murdered college student, the apprehension of a terrorist, a freed American hostage. They never stood. And for, anyone listening who might say, oh, that's partisan politics. They all play these games. Republicans have yelled out during States of the Union in the past or joint addresses. No, I watched last year, I rewatched the State of the Union from President Biden. Sure, you have the occasional person who will have an antic here or there, but Republicans stood when he brought up the March on Selma. Republicans stood when he brought up freeing hostages from Hamas. Republicans stood in these unifying moments about John Lewis. But last night, Democrats did not stand. And it was very, very shameful, and I doubt helped their approval ratings much.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It was, it kind of became the headline. Donald Trump didn't trip up at all, didn't make any gaffes, didn't lose his place or anything. He did a great job delivering a great speech. And in the midst of that, the Democrats really decided to steal the headlines this morning. The one thing I noticed was the juxtaposition of how uncomfortable, just absolutely uncomfortable the Democrats looked in there with the comfortability of Donald Trump delivering that speech. He felt like he had a mandate. He doesn't seem like he's trying to persuade anybody. The persuasion is done. He's ready to roll.
For sure. I mean, that's a great point because, normally these events are buttoned up affairs. You're very serious. You're very solemn at moments. And, you kind of just stick to script. And Trump did that for 4 years. And last night, he did that. He had his script, But he did something different. He would veer off on these moments where he was talking about spending and, list out line items of absurd spending. And he got, laughs from the congressmen and women. And then another point, he's listing off the ages of Social Security beneficiaries that are very much not alive, when you're 300 years old. And then he made a crack at the end. We're healthier than I thought, RFK Jr. He had these humorous, extemporaneous moments as if, he has relief. He's through the election. He's very comfortable. And it could not have been a starker contrast, to your point, to the Democrats who looked angry, rigid, and who wants to be at that party? I'll take the Donald Trump party if I have to pick one.
Yeah, absolutely. Kayleigh McEnany with us right now, co-host of Outnumbered on Fox. She's a former White House press secretary, author of Serenity in the Storm, a wonderful book you should check out. I'm curious about your personal experience of working with the president. I know you've spent a lot of time around him, been behind closed doors as you've worked with him. Do you see a difference in term 2, Donald Trump, compared to what you experienced when you were the press secretary in term 1?
Yes. He understands Washington. He understands how to navigate. He's always been confident. I think confident is probably a top word that comes to mind if you think about President Trump. But he's confident in governing. He's always been confident in speech and in word. And I think, he's confident in being a leader and a businessman. And he was confident in his first term. But he knows the ropes now. And not only that, Donald Trump Jr. made the point, we had 4 years to sit back and think about what we wanted to do. And clearly that time was used wisely. He had 4 years in Washington. He learned about the bureaucracy. He learned about the pitfalls. He learned about, how to get things done. And then when he comes back, he's still the same confident businessman, communicator, but with the confidence of being a chief executive who knows exactly how to execute a plan and can get over the tripwires that I think almost any Republican president faces, and him more than any of his predecessors, which is the tripwires that are laid by the bureaucracy, which you'll put forward an executive order and they undermine what you're trying to do every step of the way. Not this time. He has a confidence about him, and it's very evident.
Kayleigh, I'd like to play a clip for you because I want to get your thoughts on how, not just what Donald Trump says here, but how he says it. This is him speaking last night about being shot at.
Our country and its love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
When you listen to him speaking there and saying that and referring to God, he's made many references to God since that event has happened. I feel like there's real sincerity when he delivers that line.
Yeah, I think there is. I've spoken to him since then, and he communicated that to me as well. I think that is a very sincere articulation of him having a life-changing experience, and one that you can kind of see percolates throughout his presidency to the point of, his cabinet meeting. I think it was Scott Turner who opened that with prayer. I personally believe, and I don't know this, but I personally believe President Trump probably suggested that. I think there's been a real discernible change in him. And I think ending on that moment was very beautiful. And ending with the story of Corey Comparatori, someone he clearly has not forgotten about, will not forget about, attended one of his rallies and lost his life. And I just thought it was the absolute nicest bow on top of what was a really wonderful more than 90-minute address.
Yes, I agree with that too as well, Kayleigh. One last question before we let you go. We've heard the joint address. He did a great job of laying out what has been done, but also where they're going. There are questions. There's uncertainty that exists because he's taking us into uncharted territory with the tariffs, with the Zelensky situation, with what he's been able to do in the southern border with his executive power. Does Donald Trump have the ability to play a long game here that America needs to just watch him do what he does?
I do. I think, look, no one wants to see the economy succeed more than President Trump. Yes, I agree we're in uncharted waters. The last thing anyone wants to see is tariffs cause high pricing. But I know that this is a president who understands the economy and understands when to pull back, when to push forward, and to what end to do that, and to use these moves strategically. I saw a headline just as I was rushing out that he's pondering giving an exemption to auto tariffs, which I think is already him thinking through making moves. I know I saw Truth Social that he had a conversation this morning with Justin Trudeau of Canada. He said it went pretty well. So I think he's constantly having conversations, thinking through these things how can I, rectify these trade imbalances but at the same time not cause hurt and pain to the American people. So I think he knows those fault lines and is very mindful of that.
Well, we are only 6 weeks in, so there's still time for his plans to take hold and benefit the American people. Thank you, Kayleigh, for the time today. We're very grateful for it. We look forward to having you back again.
Thanks so much, Annie.
Take care. Bye-bye. Kayleigh McEnany, co-host of Outnumbered on Fox. She's a former White House press secretary as well, a great author. If you're looking for a good, her two books, For Such a Time as This, I think is the first one. I read that one. It was about her entry into the administration, what it was like to work for Donald Trump. It was during COVID, so it's a lot of insight there, but also she has a very unique perspective. She's young children. I just found it to be a very refreshing read. Serenity in the Storm is her latest as well. Check those books out. I'm happy to hear her say, especially with that line about "I believe God saved me," because that is a line that you could say that's going to make people go, "Oh, he's saying the right things." But I do believe when I listen to him say that, and I've heard him deliver that line multiple times, in my judgment, which, is worth whatever, I think he really believes it. And it's in my Christian faith, I think about everything surrounding what he has had to deal with as a human being on this planet. And if this brings him to a place where he has an active, fruitful faith, what a story that is.
I was really glad that you asked that question of her, because she does have that unique perspective of knowing him first term, working very closely with him, and now being a national voice. So, and she said she spoke with him recently, and that she said, in her words, I think she said it was a discernible difference, talking about God. That's the important stuff. When we talk about the budget and stuff, I always like to just throw out the term, hey, remember, we're talking about the budget. Remember, in the context of $36 trillion in debt. I think the same thing is true of a person, especially a president, to remember this is a guy who was almost killed. He so narrowly avoided being shot in the head.
From a head turn. I mean, he was shot in the head.
Yes.
But he could have had his head blown off.
That when and it doesn't matter whether it's him or anybody else, when that point gets brought up, remember that this man was almost assassinated, and now he's the president in his second term that was separated. That's another great time to just sort of step back and reflect. Yeah, all the little things that we're dealing with, they're big things, I get it. They're national things, they're international things. But maybe there's a plan here. It kind of puts things into perspective for you.
The reason I highlight that, I mean, he said a ton of things last night. We're going to Mars. We're going to put a flag on Mars.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the most selfish opinion I have. I'm like, that's not going to help me. I don't need that. So much is going to have to happen. I guess if you want to colonize Mars, you got to start somewhere. But it's not as though, I hope not, that my children or myself are going to be Martians one day.
You don't know.
I do know that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm clinging to this group.
Well, I guess all your kids would have been born on Earth, so they'd be Earthlings. But their kids.
What do you mean they would be? They are.
They are Earthlings.
Yeah.
No matter even if they move to Mars. But your grandkids, they could be Martians.
Illegal or legal immigrants?
It depends on birthright citizenship.
Fair. What was your favorite part of last night's speech? Did you listen to the whole thing, or did you only listen to it in clips?
No, I was doing the same thing as you, I think, because I was dealing with two of the boys being home and then homework. And
so did you have it on?
The whole first part of it, well, actually, the first 15 minutes I missed because we were doing stuff. Then from then on, I pretty much saw the whole thing other than maybe a little bit. So my favorite part was the part that stuck with me the most, and this is just personal because it just stuck with me. It didn't say anything larger, or maybe it did for you. It didn't for me. It was just like, wow, what a neat moment. Was when he announced that kid had made it into West Point.
Yes!
I mean, it was just cool.
Hey, yeah, and the delivery.
He was so excited. The kid was so excited. He clearly didn't know it was coming. And then when he's telling the personal stories, which every president does in a State of the Union, the kid that he had talked about right before that the little kid who had beat cancer,
brain cancer,
or was still. I think he's still battling it.
I think he beat it.
Well, I hope so. But he had it several times,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I can't remember if he was still dealing with it. But they had just got done telling his story. Then they talk about the kid. Oh, you made it to West Point. And this kid's face lights up. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened on national TV. It's unbelievable. And then the kid from the previous story walks up behind him and just gives him a high five. And you're like, that's cool.
Like, this is our day, guy.
Yeah, because he had just been announced that he was an honorary Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
That's just cool.
Carolyn Levitt's given a press briefing right now, and they're talking about some tariff things. I want to dip into that here real quick. If we've got to move Wiggins America, we might end up doing that. But let's see what kind of news is coming out of the White House here the day after the joint address. Carolyn Levitt is at the podium and getting asked questions. She's done a great job so far, but with the tariff thing, it's a minute by minute.
Good to see you in here.
It's a minute by minute developing story. So let's listen in.
Can you confirm that the president held talks with the big three automakers today, speaking about potentially delaying tariffs?
I can confirm, and I'm glad that you asked because the president sent me out here with a statement directly from him on this. I saw it was reported earlier today by Bloomberg News, and he wanted me to share this with all of you. We spoke with the big three auto dealers. We are going to give a 1-month exemption on any autos coming through USMCA. Reciprocal tariffs will still go into effect on April 2nd, but at the request of the companies associated with USMCA, the president is giving them an exemption for 1 month so they are not at an economic disadvantage. So the three companies that he spoke to are Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors. They requested the call, they made the ask, and the president is happy to do it. It's a 1-month exemption.
And the president just posted on social media that he had spoken with Prime Minister Trudeau. He says he's not satisfied with what the Prime Minister has said when it comes to fentanyl, but less than 1%, as you know, less than 1% of the fentanyl seized last year was in the northern border. What else does Canada need to do?
Well, the president did just put out a statement on his call with the governor, Justin Trudeau, as he calls him, of Canada. And he said that he was not pleased, as you said. He said it's not good enough. He told Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that directly. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner, as the president said, but he's not going to stop standing up for the American people. And to answer your question directly when it comes to fentanyl, for the last 4 years, unfortunately, our neighbors to the north and the south, Canada and Mexico, respectively, have allowed America to be a dumping ground, not just for illegal aliens, but for illegal, poisonous, deadly fentanyl, which is now the #1 killer of young people in this country aged 18 to 34. Through the northern border in Canada, in last fiscal year alone, there was enough fentanyl seized to kill 4.8 billion people. And that number is up 2,050% from 2023, the year before. So there's been more than a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl seizure at the northern border. Why? Because Canada is allowing that fentanyl to come to the United States. The president sees these numbers. He thinks about the lives that are lost. And everybody in this room, I'm sure, everybody watching at home, everybody across the country knows someone in our lives who has been killed at the hands of this deadly poison. There needs to be repercussions for that. The president feels very strongly about it.
But Caroline, respectfully, it's just 43 pounds that were found last year. That's less than a carry-on suitcase. Is that a lot of fentanyl compared to, say, Mexico, where the vast majority of the fentanyl is brought in through Mexico, not Canada? So what else does Canada need to do?
Well, I just told you, last year alone, there was a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl. You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe. And frankly, I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the families in this country who have lost loved ones at the hands of this deadly poison. If you talk to them, and this president has, they are grateful that they finally have a president who is standing up to both Canada and Mexico, and most importantly, to China as well. The president added an additional 10% tariff on China because this deadly poison is being produced in that country. It's being distributed through our neighbors, and there needs to be consequences for that, period. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. If the U.S. has a longstanding policy that we do not negotiate with terrorists, then why is the U.S. now negotiating directly and for the first time ever with Hamas?
Well, when it comes to the negotiations that you're referring to, first of all, the special envoy who's engaged in those negotiations does have the authority to talk to anyone. Israel was consulted on this matter. And look, dialogue and talking to people around the world to do what's in the best interest of the American people is something that the president has proven is what he believes is good faith effort to do what's right for the American people.
Is it just about the hostages? Or are they also talking about the president's plan to take over Gaza?
These are ongoing talks and discussions. I am not going to detail them here. There are American lives at stake. I would defer you to the Department of State for further details, but I'm not going to get into those talks here at this podium.
We know that some officials here were miffed that Zelensky showed up last week without a suit for his meeting in the Oval Office. But Elon Musk never wears a suit.
He did last night.
So what is the dress code?
Well, Elon Musk wore a suit last night. I'm sure you saw it.
Was he spooked by the Zelensky, Zelensky getting kicked out?
No, I don't think so. I'm just pointing out that he did wear a suit last night. And I think the president liked that very much. And he looked great. Speaking of the president, he just passed me a note while I'm standing here. He wanted me to hold this up. This is the poll that I cited, the CBS YouGov poll that shows that 76% of those who watched the president's speech last night approved of his speech. And so it goes to my earlier point that I made in my monologue about how incredibly sad it is that we have a modern-day Democrat Party who is so severely out of touch with the American public. This is a great poll. The ultimate poll, though, came on November 5th when the president won by an overwhelming margin that he spoke about last night. Democrats weren't happy to hear that either. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline. Back on tariffs, last night President Trump said there will be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. Can you put a dollar figure amount on how much the average American family should expect to pay as this disturbance? And why should Americans be okay with that when so many are already struggling to pay the bills?
Well, first of all, last night, the president told the truth. And he was realistic, and he level set with the American people. And I think, frankly, it's very refreshing, and everybody in this room should be very grateful that we have a president who tells the truth about the reality of the economic situation that we are in, unlike the previous president who lied to everybody's faces, saying inflation was transitory, saying it was under control, saying that the border was secure, when none of that was true. So the president is being frank and honest, and the American people elected this president to have monumental reform and change, including rebuilding our manufacturing base in this country, standing up to foreign nations who have been ripping off our country for decades. And that requires a little bit of disruption. That requires a lot of effort and work that this president is focused on doing. With that said, as the president said last night, his administration is wholeheartedly committed, of course, to ending the inflation nightmare caused by the Biden administration. Look at the deregulation efforts. Look at the president's push last night in his speech for Congress to pass tax cuts, to end taxes on Social Security and overtime pay for hardworking Americans, end taxes on tips. We need Congress to get that done because that's going to put more money back into the pockets of the American people. And I didn't even mention energy. Look at the president's approach and focus on unleashing the might of our energy industry. We know that's the #1 driver of inflation. He's been slashing back a lot of the burdensome regulation from the previous administration to unleash our energy industry here at home, which will drive down costs. He said he is committed to making America affordable again. He did it in his first term, and Americans can trust him to do it again.
President Trump has made clear, Caroline, that he loves tariffs, but the stock market does not. How does he factor that into his decision making?
Well, the president does love tariffs. He said it's one of his favorite words of the English dictionary, and he believes in tariffs because they'll ultimately make America rich again. They're going to raise revenue. They're going to help us pay down our debt. Most importantly, they're going to bring American jobs here back home. So I think for folks on Wall Street who may be concerned, look at what this president did for you in his first term. Wall Street boomed. Stock market boomed. The president expects that to happen again, but most importantly, Main Street is going to boom, and that's why the president has this whole of government economic approach, which includes tax cuts, tariffs, regulation cuts, and an energy industry that will bring down costs for American consumers. Sure, Monica.
Thank you, Caroline. You mentioned not one Democrat senator voted to protect women's sports from males. Not one Democrat congressman or congresswoman stood to applaud or support protecting women's spaces and sports at the president's joint session to Congress last night, as you articulately mentioned at the beginning. So I'm wondering, what message is that sending to not only young women who are competing in these sports across the country, but also to the parents of these young girls.
Yeah. I think the message that Americans should take away from last night is that they have a president in the Oval Office who is committed to doing what's right for them, especially women and girls across the country. And I think it's very ironic, thank you for bringing up the point about women, that Democrat women were wearing pink to support our fellow females, yet they couldn't stand, again, for a young woman who was almost killed and severely injured by a man on the volleyball court. They couldn't stand for the mothers of two beautiful young women whose lives were taken tragically at the hands of illegal people. So you can't say you're the party of women and then support men and women's sports and not stand up for basic law and order and immigration reform that will protect women in this country. That's what President Trump is doing. He's the president for women. Lindsay, good to see you.
Thank you, Caroline. Good to see you. So, speaking of tariffs, China said yesterday that they're ready for any kind of war with the U.S. Because of these tariffs that have been placed on them. And a Chinese spokesperson also said that the tariffs would not lead to a resolution of U.S. concerns about fentanyl originating in China. Can you speak to how the administration is planning on responding to that?
Well, I think Secretary Hegseth has responded to that this morning. He said that America will always be prepared to defend itself, especially under the leadership of this president in the Oval Office. And that certainly remains true. Again, when it comes to tariffs, the president has been very tough on China, not just now with 20% and more with the reciprocal tariffs that will hit on April 2nd. But look at what he did in his first term. There were billions of dollars worth of tariffs that he implemented on China. And it's quite telling that the previous administration did not rescind those tariffs because they realized the value that they had in not only deterring China, but also raising revenue here in the United States. Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline. Just a quick follow-up, two quick follow-ups on tariffs. The president mentioned a little disturbance during his remarks yesterday. The CEO of Target says that consumers will likely see prices go up on everything from strawberries to bananas to avocados. How long should Americans expect to pay higher prices? Are we talking a week, a couple of days, a few months?
Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I can assure the American people is that this president and this administration is doing everything they can. And I would remind you and everybody else in this room that it's because of the previous administration's economic policies that Americans were left with record high inflation. Inflation throughout Joe Biden's entire 48 months in office was at or above 3%. It hit record highs, as you know. And there's a whole list of what the Biden economic disaster this president was left to clean up. It's been a month, but he's working hard every single day to do just that.
Just one quick follow-up on the carve-out. Sorry to cut you off there. The U.S. imported $43 million worth of eggs from Canada. I know you mentioned some of the exemptions when it comes to automakers. Will there be any other carve-outs, including for eggs? We know prices are soaring for Americans.
The president is open to hearing about additional exemptions. He always has open dialogue, and he'll always do, what's right, what he believes is right for the American people. But again, as for the egg crisis in this country, the president is wholeheartedly committed to ensuring we're increasing our egg supply, and we're also bringing down cost. And Secretary Rollins has been all over this issue. She comes from an agricultural background and family. That's why she's leading that very important department. She wrote an amazing op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. She's been all over the media talking about her plan. She has a real plan. The president endorses it. And he even, gave her an off-the-prompter shout-out last night to say, Brooke, I'm counting on you. It's an important issue. And this White House is working with Secretary of Agriculture every single day to address this issue. Sure. Jordan.
Thanks, Caroline. So, what does it say that the Democrats, while they couldn't stand for Americans or stand for victims, they stood for war and clapped for war and clapped for 5 more years of war?
Yeah, the president addressed that last night, I think, when he called out Senator Elizabeth Warren and said that, as I said in my opening speech, very telling that the Democrats refused to clap for American people and American interests and American priorities, but they did clap for the country of Ukraine, which, by the way, the president's working very hard to end that war. So Democrats should be applauding him for actually doing something about it.
Follow up on that if I can. You've spoken recently about how what happened in the Oval Office last week gave Americans an inside look into behind-the-scenes discussions with Zelensky. Is this how he treated Joe Biden and just treated him disrespectfully and received billions of dollars?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I don't know if anybody in here asked my predecessor who stood at this podium about that, but there was a report from NBC News that President Biden also got increasingly frustrated with President Zelensky when he was handing out blank checks and President Zelensky kept asking for more. Joe Biden was quite frustrated with that. So again, as I've said repeatedly, Friday revealed the frustrations that this administration has had in closed-door negotiations with the Ukrainians. However, President Zelensky did put out a statement yesterday, which we believe is a positive step forward. And National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has been talking to his Ukrainian counterparts. And so we're in the midst of this, and we'll see what happens next.
Carolyn Levitt reporting or answering to the press there and doing a very good job of it, I might add. Getting to the bottom, everything that the majority of what people want to know about is tariffs. And we've said this a million times. The tariff isn't the end game. A better deal for the United States is the end game. So it's going to be back and forth. There are going to be lots of questions about tariffs because as deals are being made, she's said before too, like, and so is Donald Trump. Work is being done right now. When Donald Trump was standing at the podium with Lutnick and, as you remember, and the guy from Taiwan that was investing the $100 billion in chips in the Arizona area, he's like, he was talking about Ukraine. He's like, negotiations are taking place right now. This is a very fast-paced environment. And again, the fact that we're just 6 weeks into this, I continue to ask myself, is this going to keep up the pace? Is it take all of this so fast, all at once, all of this juggling right now in order to get things back on track, and then it kind of slows down because we've righted the ship? Or are we 4 years of this? Because, man, hold on tight if it is.
You mentioned just now Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big fan of his. I don't know if I mentioned that yesterday.
Yes, the fanboy group.
But he actually gave a mini press conference after the State of the Union last night, just in the rotunda or whatever, the hallways outside of the main room there, and he outlined like what you're saying. He's saying, look, the next 4 years, we're going to radically transform everything. We're going to get our budget back. It's going to be crazy. That's basically what he was saying to all the media standing there. So I just don't know if this pace does stop. I mean, they are doing things very different.
It's fun to watch. So fun to watch. When I see people all the time, if I haven't seen them in a while, so how's work? That's what they say to me. How's work? And I'm like, you know. It's
if
good.
You're asking,
it's good. It's good, at least it is at this point. We're going to speak in the next hour with Deroy Murdock, and then after we talk to Deroy, we'll get done with talking to him probably about 1:20. We'll take a break, and then I'd like to get your thoughts on the joint address. Did you love the speech? Did you hate the speech? What are you thinking? What are you wanting to know more of? Let's get you in the conversation at 1:25. Write the number down right now. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. You join the conversation at 1:25. We talk with Deroy Murdock next on The Annie Frey Show.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim, and if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesidearty.com today to start your dream renovation.
Lifestyles Unlimited, the education and mentoring group with a roadmap and support to help you real estate retire.
Having the consulting team, having other avenues within your whole system is what's made y'all successful. Everyone is there to guide you to be successful. So it's just up to you to get off the butt and do it.
Do it. Take action today. Get educated now at Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for $297, a 60% savings. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are one phone call, one text message even away directly to Stewie. You're not going to get it put into some system here. When you call or text 314-324-4440, you get Stewie. And you're going to ask him about the bagel loan. Say, Annie keeps talking about this. I'd like to know how it can help me. And then he's going to help you. He's going to make sure that you understand exactly how the bagel loan works. But I can sum up for you real quick right now. When you go get your initial mortgage or when you go get the mortgage refinance for your home, you're going to be able to go through that process of acquiring a new mortgage, and you are going to pay $0 in closing costs. That's a pretty magnificent deal for you. He works directly with you, so that's how he's able to make this happen. He can explain it all to you. He doesn't roll the closing costs into the loan. They just don't exist. So save a boatload of money on your mortgage by calling 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio every Saturday at 2, right here on 97.1 FM Talk, and you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Tough talk on tariffs. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. President Trump says he spoke with Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau for nearly an hour today about tariffs. The president says Canada's efforts to stop fentanyl flowing across the border aren't good enough. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says tariffs may cause short-term price increases on some products, but tells Fox they will boost the economy.
Why are our Michigan jobs in Canada? And that's what the president's going to address. He's going to say, come on back. Come on back. We're going to build Michigan. We're going to build Ohio.
The White House just announcing the president will give a 1-month exemption on autos imported to the U.S. through the existing U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. More cuts are coming to the federal workforce. The AP reporting the administration plans to cut 80,000 employees from the Department of Veterans Affairs, and the Internal Revenue Service reportedly making plans to lay off as many as 45,000 employees. Mayors from 4 of the country's largest sanctuary cities testifying to a congressional hearing today.
Leaders of 4 major cities, Denver, Chicago, Boston, and New York, all testifying before the House Oversight Committee. These lawmakers telling them why they think the sanctuary cities should protect some illegal immigrants from potential deportation. Today, these mayors arguing by not cooperating with some efforts, they are actually making their cities safer.
Any actions that amplify fears of deportations make Chicago more dangerous. Those fears cause witnesses and victims to avoid cooperating with police.
President Trump and Republican lawmakers, as well as the administration's new immigration enforcement leaders, argue the opposite, that sanctuary policies are simply making America's cities unsafe and prevent law enforcement officers from simply doing their jobs.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Vice President Vance visiting the U.S. southern border at Eagle Pass, Texas today. Wall Street, the Dow up 353 points, NASDAQ 176 points higher. America is listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Strong and gusty winds continue all afternoon with a wind advisory in effect until 6 o'clock. Some of the wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Also, there'll be bands of rain showers mixed with snow burst. You get caught in the burst, visibility goes down to 0 very quickly. 45 tonight, slow clearing but still windy and cold, 29 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Retirement Advisory Group, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig, of course, are your guides for making sure that when you hit that magic age of 59 and a half or older, your retirement, you get new options. You've unlocked a new world of preparing for your retirement. Now, how are you supposed to know about these things before you get there? I don't know any other way other than to tell you to go to the Retirement Advisory Group or to call them directly at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. The other thing you could do is call that number and reserve your spot for the Tuesday, March 25th event at the Frontenac Hilton. Starts at 6:30 p.m. Free event. They have snacks, cookies, drinks, that type of stuff. Free to you. All you got to do is reserve your spot. And I'm going to be there from 6 o'clock till about 6:40 or so. We kind of welcome you to the event at 6:30, but I show up at 6 and try to meet as many people as I can. So come early. But you do need to reserve your spot because they are making space for you in a room. And when the room is full, it's full. So get in there before it's full. 314-993-9494, Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Get there at 6 if you want to say hello. RetirementKey.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Does the state of this economy have your head spinning? Let GregHammonds.com relieve one burden: health insurance. Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com specializes in under 65 health insurance plans that have zero copays and no deductibles. You choose your doctors and hospitals. These plans have nothing to do with your income and are 30 to 60% less than Obamacare. These are also available all year round to those that qualify. If you have a small business or you're paying for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employment coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. They can customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
The Mark Reardon Show Fish Fries are about to begin. Join me and the crew at Holy Trinity Fish Fest in St. Louis. Details at 971talk.com/events. It's Fish Fry Fridays on the Mark Reardon Show during Lent. Hope to see you for this first one on Friday.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is an Annie Frey Show.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Donald Trump giving that speech last night, a joint address to Congress. He was flanked by J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson. And it's these images that, they come back and you get to see, oh yeah, that's right, that's who was in place at that particular time. I can think of different times when we would look back and there'd be a Democrat with Democrats back there, and I was forlorn over it because they could do so much with that majority. The Republicans have it now. Last night, Donald Trump laid out a magnificent set of receipts of 6 weeks in the office so far, but also a plan for the future, as we just heard him say right there. Our guest on the line with us, it's Wednesday, Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, a Project 21 ambassador as well, and a Fox News contributor. Deroy, were you able to listen to the speech last night? And if so, what'd you think?
I did. I watched the speech live as it was happening, and I thought it was a very powerful recap on the part of President Trump of what he's been able to accomplish in the last 43 days, and a pretty clear picture of where he wants to go next. I thought it was very strong. It was very energetic. He was in command. He looked and sounded terrific. I thought the folks he had up in the balcony, the young kid who I guess he's now 13 years old, having been told that originally I guess he was supposed to have died of brain cancer at age 5. He's now 13, and is a big fan of cops, and Trump made him an honorary Secret Service agent, and had Sean Curran, head of the Secret Service, give him a Secret Service badge, and the kid hugged the Secret Service agent. We had another guy who I guess a high school student whose father was a cop who was killed, and he's applied to West Point. And Trump announced from the podium there in the House chamber that his application was approved, and the young guy's going to West Point. I mean, that was very touching, moving, fantastic television, and Trump's a real showman in every good sense, and able to do that sort of thing. What did bother me, and what a lot of people are talking about today, is the behavior of the House Democrats, both House and Senate, the entire side. Democrats' side of that room. It's not a surprise they didn't stand up and cheer when Trump called for tax cuts and talked about DOGE and its fight on government waste. But when they didn't stand up and cheer for that 13-year-old boy who's a brain cancer survivor, when they didn't stand up and cheer for that young man who's going to be going to West Point, when they didn't stand up and if not cheer, at least applaud, with great respect for the families of Lake and Riley and Jocelyn Nungare, who were in the House chamber up in the balcony there. You think of nothing else when somebody is sitting there whose daughter, or in those case, two daughters, have been killed by illegal aliens, that you have some sympathy and empathy for them, and you applaud and show your respect and solidarity for these people. The Democrats just sat on their butts and didn't do a thing. This party is based on hatred, based on derangement over Donald J. Trump. They have nothing to offer, nothing positive. They've become basically just a force for destruction, evil in this country. And I think we saw it on full display and in living color last night on television across the country.
I think you're right. Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. I feel like that was the sense that, the absolute dismay that the Democrats feel that they lost this last election. It's very palpable. It's very depressing to see. There's nothing about the Democrat Party right now that gives energy to the political conversation. And it really feels to me like the only calculus they have is put the finger in the wind and try to guess where the politics are going to breeze the next day. And they've missed on it so much that they're not even advocating for policy. Their policy is Trump bad, we hate him.
That's about it. And look, it's one thing if the public were with them, that would make sense. But the public is in favor of seeing the border closed. The public is in favor of rounding up illegal alien criminals and deporting them. The public is in favor of the tax cuts he wants to do. The public is very much in support of DOGE and the effort to fight government waste, fraud, and abuse. And you think the Democrats would be able to read a poll. These recent polls that have come out, like the Harvard-Harris poll. This is not done by Fox News or by some right-wing outfit. Harvard is obviously not very right-wing, and Harris poll is kind of a middle-of-the-road poll. And they found, I believe, 52% approval for Trump. And then among the policies I mentioned to you, 60 and 70 and 72% support. I believe the CBS survey last night found 76% of favorability for Trump's speech. And the Democrats, if nothing else, you think they can read polls and think, okay, well, the public's with him, so maybe we should tone it down a little bit. They're not toning it down. They're just doubling and tripling down on beating up on Trump, fighting him tooth and nail on everything. And it's just going to make them even more isolated and even more out of touch with the American public. And if that's what they want to do and make themselves increasingly irrelevant, I applaud that and welcome them and urge them to continue.
Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. I think listening to the upbeat nature, the positivity that surrounded President Trump's speech last night, at the same time we're watching, he gets into office 6 weeks later and he's a major part of negotiating peace between Ukraine and Russia, and it's very out in the open. And, we're watching the sausage making taking place there. We're seeing the implementation of tariffs. That kind of feels like a tense situation. It's not easily predictable how this is going to unfold. And I look at the Trump administration, and you even heard Trump talk last night, like, we're putting these tariffs in. It might be bumpy for a little bit, but he's making bold, big promises about the long term of what his plan is. Donald Trump is asking the Americans to trust him right now in some of these plans as we are seeing the transparency of this administration. Do you think that he still has the support that he gained in the election right now when he's asking for the trust of the American people to see these plans through?
Well, he certainly does for now. I mean, if these tariffs are transformed from what they have been up until now, which is basically blunt instrument trauma to get countries to do what we want in terms of, let's say, closing the border with U.S. and Mexico or U.S. and Canada, pressuring Colombia and Venezuela to take back Colombian and Venezuelan illegal alien criminals. These governments have buckled and say, okay, aye, sir, whatever you want. Panama basically booting the Chinese out of the Panama Canal. The tariff threats have done that. Now, if they go beyond that and they're not just threats, but they actually end up sticking, and every product that comes from Mexico or from Canada has an extra 10% charge on top, that's, I think, going to be inflationary, and that's going to be a problem. And if that sticks and we see prices going up rather than going down, I think that really is going to take a toll on President Trump's popularity. But I think if these are used either to get countries to behave a different way, or to say, okay, look, we'll cut the tariff on your end if you cut it on we'll cut it on our end if you cut it on your end, and we basically bring tariff levels down overall and have more freer trade than when we started, that's a good thing. But if it ends up being a trade war with high tariffs sticking on both sides, that's not good for the economy, and I think that will not be good for President Trump's political standing either.
Deroy, we spent years talking with one another here on Wednesdays about Joe Biden and his administration and the peril that the country was in. And I certainly was scratching my head thinking, gosh, everything they've thrown at Donald Trump, how's he going to pull this off? I mean, I did I want it? 100%. Did I believe it could happen? Less than 100%. Mm-hmm. It's kind of wild to me to know that we had so many conversations about what Joe Biden was doing or what was a part of having been done to this country. He's such a distant memory so quickly.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't think anybody's seen the man since January 20th. I mean,
is that curious to you?
A little bit. Usually these guys, he's not going to get up and give speeches necessarily, but, you'll see him go shopping or, go play golf or, at least be seen in public. Now, maybe he's been seen in public. They're just not broadcasting the images, but I've not seen a photo or a piece of video or anything since he left D.C. on January 20th. So maybe he's been just indoors at this point, number one. And what also is equally invisible is his entire policy agenda. I mean, almost everything that he signed has been the executive orders have been overturned. Other executive orders have blocked a lot of his policies. Certainly, DOJ is going after a lot of the ridiculous spending, like we've seen under USAID. I mean, one of the most amazing examples is this outfit run by Stacey Abrams down in Georgia, the failed gubernatorial candidate. She's involved with one of these green energy outfits. They raised I think income of $100 in 2023, and in 2024 they got a grant from the EPA for $2 billion. So it went from $100 in 1 year to $2 billion with a B, like Bravo, the next. And I think a lot of that stuff is being zeroed out. So a lot of what Joe Biden did or tried to do is just being reversed by Trump, and his reputation, Biden's reputation's going down the toilet, as well as much of his policy agenda. And I think in many respects, as you say, he's kind of a forgotten figure at this point.
And, Deroy, I think the most interesting part about it is last night at the speech where Donald Trump definitely advocated and talked about his policies with the mandate behind him that he believes that he has. He kind of threw some blows towards Joe Biden and referred to him as the worst president ever. And I feel as though that's a political maneuver towards the Democrats who are sitting in there. It's like they're hanging on to the one last thread of whatever he might not have been able to overturn yet from the Biden administration. But if you think about Joe Biden and how he's just faded into the background, and the Democrats who were there couldn't even take their eyes off of their cell phones while we're acknowledging, children who have beaten cancer. I just look at the Democrat Party and I'm like, I don't have any idea where that party is headed.
I agree with all of that. And then you had this Congressman Al Green on the House floor screaming at Trump, "You don't have a mandate, you don't have a mandate," while he's shaking his cane in his face. My God, this is from the party that always says, "Oh, Trump is a bully. We want more civil discourse. Why is he using such divisive rhetoric, et cetera, et cetera?" I can't think of anything much more divisive than having the President of the United States standing in front of you speaking, and you're going to stand up and interrupt him and shake a cane in his face. This sounds like pretty divisive behavior, so much so that the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, had to send the Sergeant at Arms to take that congressman off the House floor and get him out of the room. I mean, I've never seen a Republican behave that way. Astonishing. So these are the same party that says, "Oh, we want more civil discourse, and let's be united," and they engage in this kind of incredibly, terribly divisive behavior. It's just appalling and totally unacceptable.
Deroy, we always appreciate having you on, especially after a night like last night. Thanks for being with us again here today.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock, he is our friend, a nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and a Fox News contributor. Always good to talk to him. All right, now it's your turn. What do you say? You want to give us a call? Tell us what you felt about the speech last night, and answer the YouTube live chat poll for today. Does President Trump have a mandate from the American people? Trump sure spoke last night like he believes he does. If you listen to us at the beginning of the show here, we had Stephen A. Smith advocating to the ladies of The View, oh my gosh, yes, this is a mandate in every single way it could possibly be a mandate. We want to know what you think. So you're going to give us a call. We'll put you on the air, give you the opportunity to talk about the speech last night, and let us know if you think Donald Trump truly has a mandate. The phone number to call, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Get an open line right now while they last, and we'll get through as many phone calls as we can. Coming up next on The Annie Frey Show.
This is The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
CiviaLaw.com. What a smart move it is to call Civia Law at 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, and get your estate planning going. It's not hard to do. You call the number, you sit down with Todd Civia. He's got Missouri offices, he has Illinois offices. He is available to you, and he is the best at it. He is thorough. I've had him with very close members of my family. He's shown up and done amazing help with real estate questions that they had as well. As a lawyer, he's got his license in a way that helps him advocate and advise you in a really intelligent way. Whatever your situation or circumstances, do you have living wills put together? Do you have a trust put together? How about powers of attorney? You do not want to encounter the problems that exist when you don't take care of answering these questions. And Civia Law, Todd Civia, will guide you through the whole process so that the sigh of relief that you will be breathing at the end of all of this, you won't even know how good it feels until you're there. We did it. My husband and I did. And I encourage you to call Civia Law and schedule your strategy session today. You'll be so glad you did. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, CiviaLaw.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofSt.Louis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofSt.Louis.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors. So at Triton, we're more than just your average contractor. We're your neighborhood, proudly based in Shrewsbury, delivering stunning exteriors with James Hardie siding. Why James Hardie? #1 brand for durability, curb appeal, and best-in-class return on investment. Been working with these guys for a while. They treat everyone so well. You can rely on Triton Exteriors. Call 314-717-1159 or log on to triton-stl.com. Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough to retire? Discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey guys, it's Dave Glover here. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience, and they're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security, paying for health care, and more. There's no cost. We would ask that you bring 3 canned goods that we're going to pass on to the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. So you have 2 jobs when it comes to retirement, in my humble opinion. One is saving the money, putting it away. And then the other, just as important, is how do you take it out and what do you do with it after that? Find out at Retirement Planning 101. Simply call 314-350-8110. Again, no money necessary. 314-350-8110. 350-8110.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Prices are going up in 2025 on HVAC equipment. Save now with 2024 pricing on a new system today. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com/new.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Dwayne Patterson.
You can't be CNN and miss Jim Acosta because Caitlin Collins is Jim Acosta.
She really
now.
is. Yeah.
She's assumed the role.
Yes, she has.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Take a seat.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
I'm losing my mind just a little.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
I don't know if he practiced his delivery on that line, but I don't know that he could have delivered it better.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest mic drop moments of the night.
All we need is a pause for effect. New president. It's like, oh man. And I was watching it on our White House stream that we used on our live broadcast last night. So I didn't watch any of the Fox coverage, didn't have any, just presented the way at least the White House YouTube channel wanted to present it. And it was just something to behold. We want to know what you think. 314-241-9797. Looks like we have one open line if you'd like to grab that. We're going to get through some of these phone calls here and let you talk about the speech, what you thought about it, and also if you think that Donald Trump has a mandate. Let's start with Paul. Paul, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How'd you feel last night watching that speech?
Well, first off, I had to listen to it because I'm blind, but that's okay.
Well, thank you, Paul, for
I was impressed. The man has a mandate, and he's being very transparent. And good God, he's only been there for 43 days. But let me talk about the Democrats for a moment.
Okay.
I hope the Democrats continue to act like clowns because midterms are coming up. And you explained to me how a Democratic candidate is going to be able to defend their actions. Keep acting stupid, folks, because you're going to lose all the seats you got coming up.
Paul,
and finally,
go ahead.
Finally, Carolyn Levitt. My God, what a refreshing take over KJP. That woman has got so much poise. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a different world, isn't it, Paul? Thank you for listening to us. We're grateful for that. And if you saw Elon Musk on X agrees with Paul, he said after seeing what happened last night, he said he doesn't think 60 senators is out of reach. Now, I don't know if that's the case or not, but at least this version of the Democrat Party, I don't know if they have a clear focus on where to go in order to get there, because hating Trump has not gotten them anywhere. They've gotten to this point by hating Trump, and it's not a strategy. Deron, let's talk to you. Thank you for listening to the Annie Frey Show. What were your thoughts about the speech last night and whether or not Donald Trump has a mandate?
Yeah, how's it going? I didn't really have an opinion on how he's running things. I think the speech was great, like everything with the kids and everything. That was amazing. It makes him look even bigger. But I mean, as far as what he plans on doing, I think that he's just continuing from where he started, which was after his first term. In silence because, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you say continuing from his first term. What?
I mean, I'd speak for the Democrats if no one else has a voice because the first term after Barack Obama, it didn't look that bad for the next president. It was kind of clean slated for him. And he came in with his very own agenda from what it looked like. And I'm not really into politics that deeply, but this really gets my attention because everyone thinks that Democrats are sliding, and forgetting about what they stand for. But obviously, this guy he's a guy that'll run you over if you don't agree with him. He looks like Darth Vader with a Trump.
Trump looks like Darth Vader to you? Is he gone?
I think we might have lost him.
Man.
He's still connected, but maybe the connection was bad.
314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. I had a lot of questions I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Sounds like maybe he was a Democrat but had an open mind. I'm not sure.
He's listening to this show.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
314-241-9797. Let's get to Saul. Saul, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. Your thoughts on the speech last night?
Can you hear me?
Yep, Saul, go ahead. If you turn your radio down, it'll be easier to hear us.
Yeah, I'm an independent.
Okay.
Why do we not have term limits for those tired, sit-around, do-nothing Democrats?
Just for the Democrats? I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, why don't we have term limits in the Senate and the Congress? Because all those, they get there and they think they're invincible.
Mm-hmm.
You read some of the stories about how they've made their wealth off cheating the public, and that's why I'm an independent. we've got to rotate these people with new blood, new ideas. They all sit on their butts, and it's a shame. He's gonna change it. They're just gonna continue to hate it because they don't understand it, I think.
Do you feel like there are Republicans who are in office right now also that think that they're untouchable?
Well, I'm not going to say that nobody's untouchable, but they have I would say a mission, and their mission is to make America better.
Yeah. Well, I think I think to your point, Saul, that when you see, I was going to say what the Democrats stand for, but literally when you see what they literally sit for, and you watch them just operate at least out of hatred for Donald Trump specifically, and then, of course, anything else that's downstream from Donald Trump, I just don't even know what they're offering the American people right now as an alternative. Because in America, competition in the free market, that makes everything better. And I'm worried that the Republicans could get complacent or sloppy if there is no viable Democrat Party out there advocating for something a little bit different. And I don't know what they stand for at all.
Well, and I think that this election has woke up everybody.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know how to say it, but my parents are still alive in the 80s. They're diehard Democrats, and all they do is say Trump's the devil, this guy's the devil, and what is what can you tell me to do different? Well, we just got to get rid of Trump. Well, they can't see past their hatred, like you said. It's just such a shame, and I've been an independent, and I never followed politics till I saw how terrible that Joe Biden was, and the strength was not there. And if Trump gets all these wars done, it will be great for the whole world.
It will. Hey, Saul, as someone who doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to politics, truly, sincerely, thank you for making us a little part of what you might be hanging out with to try to get a little closer to it. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the phone call. We appreciate you. Let me get to Tina. Tina, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. What do you think about President Trump's speech last night?
I thought he was amazing. I think everything he's doing is amazing. I think he has had the hand of God placed on him to save the world.
I love it. I love it. That's a big, bold statement. That'll make some people who are on the left listening right now just like throw up in their mouth. But you seem pretty sincere about that.
Oh, I firmly believe it. I believe that God has touched him and God has made him a way to try to save this world. Because if Trump doesn't do it now, nothing is going to save this world. We're done for.
Tina, just to elaborate a little bit, what do you think that Trump is going to save the world from?
The Democrats and the evildoers.
Well,
I don't know what you call them, the deep state. I just call them the evildoers.
Yeah. I
think people are trying to get rich off of it. Stop trying. Look at Nancy Pelosi. She got $11 million for vegetation in her vineyard out of that you said, or however you say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what they're so mad about. They're not afraid of what he's going to do. They're afraid of what he's going to find out.
Well, I think that's absolutely accurate. Tina, thank you for your passion and for listening. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. The beginning of her conversation there, just going to go a little bit behind the scenes. I don't know that we've ever done this on the station, but every once in a while you'll get like these canned phone calls that radio stations will use in promos, but it's just like an actress saying it or an actor saying it. That's what she sounded like. It sounded so like she delivered that.
I just got a private message. Tina was Ethan.
Yeah, that was Ethan.
Yeah, that was just Ethan.
Yeah, it was Ethan using his lady voice.
I told him I need a promo.
I loved that, Tina. Thank you so much for calling. Gary, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Your thoughts on President Trump's speech last night?
I thought his speech was excellent, and I thought the Democrats made fools of themselves by not sitting by sitting the whole time when that 13-year-old boy who has brain cancer, they wouldn't even stand up and clap for him. are the other two ladies that lost their daughters. Guess what? The Democrats have just lost the midterms. And they will lose. From now on, the American people aren't stupid. And I believe that President Trump is going to accomplish everything that he said he would. And he closed the border in less than 43 days. And that tells you right there, these Democrats only think about lining their own pockets with our tax dollars. And I'm ready. They've lost everything. And anybody that'll vote for them needs their head examined.
Gary, thank you for the phone call. I love it.
I love that point is coming to light because that's not a new problem.
Go ahead.
The fact that politicians are using this kind of roundabout system to enrich themselves, that has been happening for a long time. But right now, it's like under the microscope, in the light. People know that it's happening, and there's like, that's it. We're done with it.
Last night, Donald Trump said something about how they're going to like weed out the mismanagement of taxpayer funds, whatever. And the Republicans stood up and they're like, yeah. That's when he introduced Doge. And the left was like, boo.
They had like little signs.
Dude, that's all you really need to know. Like, they're like, misuse of taxpayer funds. We're going to weed that out. And the Democrats are like, you suck.
Keep misusing them.
Yeah. Marie, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. What did you think about the speech last night?
Hi. Well, first of all, this is the first time I've ever called in on something like this, and I just happened to be out and hearing the show.
Thank you for calling,
and
Marie.
That was probably the first time ever that I listened. I was by myself and I listened to the president's speech beginning to end without any commentary. I just observed. And what I found to be absolutely stunning was the behavior and the lack of compassion, empathy, and the humanity of the one group of people. It wasn't what anything was said. It was what their actions. And it said, actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I need. I mean, they were so, no compassion, no anything, connection with those people that have suffered loss. And I say those people, the young boy, the 13-year-old, that's me. That's my family. That's my neighbor. That's my people that have died in battle. And I just can't. I was alone, so I didn't have anywhere when I watched that.
Yeah.
All I want, it was stunning. I thought, I was brokenhearted, and I am brokenhearted that those people that have been elected to those positions to be they don't care about it. There was no caring about us, and I'm saying us.
Yeah.
I mean, that I'm a widow. I can understand all of that.
Marie, I think one of the things I think that you're saying here, which is so important for people to remember, is that what you saw last night, Marie, is what America saw last night. And in this country, we can change our House representatives every 2 years. And I think that is something.
And it doesn't matter. I'm not going by party. I'm being deliberate. I mean, it was just the body language and the behavior. It was just so sad. It was so sad.
Marie, I appreciate so much you calling into the show, and you said that was your first time. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you for reaching out to us and sharing your thoughts on that. Now, let's see. We got a full board of phone calls here, and I want to continue to take your calls. So let's take a break and do more phone calls on the other side.
Yeah, it sounds great.
The number to call is 314-241-9797. I don't have any open lines right now, but if somebody decides they don't want to hold through the break, you could maybe slip in an open spot. 314-241-9797. Let's see here. Duran has called back in. Jim, Jennifer, Charlie, Stephanie, and one person Ethan's talking to right now. Hold on the line. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
AirComfortService.com. You go to the website. You can learn all about the services provided at Air Comfort Service. Heating, cooling, insulation. They do it all. If you reach out to Air Comfort Service via phone, because maybe you've got a little bit more of a emergency situation, you're going to want to call 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. I'm supposed to talk to you about cooling system checks right now, but it's freezing outside and snowing, so it kind of seems weird to do that. But that time, it's kind of exciting also to think about your cooling system is going to be needed to be in good working order here shortly. So reach out to Air Comfort Service and have them come check it now. Before you need to use your air conditioner, make sure it's functioning the way it's supposed to. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. They are ready to take your phone call to help you with your HVAC concerns and make sure that you can avoid costly repairs by kicking the maintenance stuff down the road. You don't want to do that. You want to get them out there. They'll give you options. They'll treat you great. They'll be respectful of your home, and they are a phone call away. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
99 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors for savvy homeowners. Since 1926, they are the only authorized dealer of Overhead Door brand products in the city. Always look for the iconic red ribbon to be sure you're dealing with the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. For same-day garage door repair 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis or schedule online overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
At the Williams residence, everything looked kind of the same from the outside. But inside, their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them. But for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Send Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no cravings. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Sunday, March 16th, Aviator Hotel and Suites, South I-55 in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. or Monday, March 17th. 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9-all-zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Just a reminder, Brian Kilmeade is coming to town on March 22nd. That's a couple weeks away. Saturday, March 22nd at the Factory. You can get tickets and you can add exclusive VIP meet and greets all at 971talk.com. This is sponsored by Bob and Tammy Kershaw from the Retirement Advisory Group, so we hope to see you there on March 22nd. It is 1:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Let's support Heroes Care through comedy. Annie Frey here. Join Heroes Care at the Westport Funny Bone Sunday, March 23rd for stand-up from St. Louis's own Will O'Donnell. That's Sunday, March 23rd. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I can never hear this song without thinking about one of our basketball players who called out the alcohol hokey pokey. Just makes me laugh every time I think about it. All right, we've only got a few minutes here, and I do have a full board of phone calls, so I'm going to give you the chance for anybody who's on the line right now. We're going to try to get through all of these phone calls, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk, and then I'm going to move to the next one. So if I move on to the next person, I want to get you in here, let you say what you think, and keep it moving so that I can get as many voices on as possible. I'm going to start here with Jennifer. Jennifer, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Your thoughts on the speech last night?
Thank you. I totally am so impressed with his speech last night. And the one thing that he said that it's kind of like it covers the kids that died. It covers everything about the Democrats. It covers everything that he has to deal with. He spends more time having to defend himself than he actually gets to spend being a president. Mm-hmm. And the comment I'm talking about is he said he could come up with a cure for one of the worst diseases or more serious diseases in the world, and no one would acknowledge it or appreciate him.
Yep.
And that goes along with, unfortunately, the kids that died and stuff. My prayers go out to their families. But he is trying to do a great job by getting America great again. And people just won't let him, because my dad and my sister and her family, they are so obsessed with watching CNN like every day.
Someone's got to.
That they just want to hate on Trump. It's like, why don't you let the man do his job? And no matter what he does, they're not going to like him.
Yeah. Jennifer, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. What a miserable way to live. Honestly, I hope that is changing for them at some point or another, just to not be obsessed with it. We had to kind of tone it down ourselves when the other guy was in charge and not just live in frustration the entire time. But she's right to point out Donald Trump knows there are people who are never going to approve of anything he does, no matter how amazing and great it is. Jim, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. What did you think about the speech last night?
I think President Trump was spot on and is taking the country where it needs to go and doing what he needs to do it. And anybody with a half a brain would understand that. I guess my real comments are, though, is it was kind of funny. I was watching Elizabeth Warren on her phone, or Pocahontas, as Trump calls her. I figured she was looking at her LinkedIn account, looking for a new job.
You think she's shopping for jobs?
Yeah. And the other thing was all the Democrats holding up those little signs. And that reminded me of the commercial with the people that are depressed. We got the little smiley face on the front.
Oh,
and they're in essence trying to cover up their depression by making it look like they enjoy life. Little smiley face. So,
Jim, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. I get it.
I forgot about that commercial.
Charlie, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. What do you think about the speech?
Hey, Annie, long-time listener, first-time caller. I thought the president was spot on last night. Very energetic, very focused. and he was very much in line with talking about the topics that got him elected, and he acknowledged that. To a previous caller's comment, they said that even if he discovers the cure for cancer, they're never going to be happy with that. So this is a guy that's got a laser focus. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to do it. And I'm very excited for the next 4 years.
Charlie.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up.
One last thing I was going to say. I thought the Democrats' behavior last night was reprehensible on so many fronts. And if I am any one of them up for midterms next year, I would start thinking about polishing up my resume. They may have to go out and think about a new job after all this. I think there's going to be some another bat coming through. So,
Charlie, thank you for calling us. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Take care. Bye bye. Yeah, it's one thing to kind of how I started the show. You could talk about the speech and what Donald Trump did, but then when you go into what the other side, the opposition did, woo boy, lots to talk about in both places. Stephanie, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Your reaction last night to Donald Trump's speech.
Hello, thanks for taking my call. I, too, am a long-time listener, first-time caller. And last night I was watching, and I was touched. I was moved, and I had tears. I had tears of joy. Trump is doing great things for America, and if people can't see that, shame on them. I think he's doing great, and it was just moving and touching and tears of joy. He really loves America, as do I. So I think it was amazing.
That's great, Stephanie. I appreciate that. It is emotional to allow yourself to take in the moment and remember how long ago it wasn't, that things looked pretty dire. And we're not that far removed from the proposition that maybe we would have a President Kamala Harris. Golly, when you think about what we would be doing right now as a country, what we would be focusing on, all of the stories that we cover every day in the news cycle that we wouldn't be talking about if America would have made a different choice. And if you go to the YouTube channel right now, you can vote in today's poll. Does President Trump have a mandate from the American people? Yes or no? He sure thinks he does, and he is taking it. He's taking every inch of it that he possibly can. I want to get to Chad. Chad, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. What did you think about the speech last night?
Hi, Annie. Thank you for taking my call. I thought the speech was spot on. I think the behavior from the Democratic Party was just to kind of seal the deal that they are the true enemy of the state. And if I was a Democrat, I'd be absolutely embarrassed right now of my party. It's sad. It's a sad day for the Democratic Party, but I hope that he continues his path on and gets our country back on track.
He seems focused, Chad. I think he's going to do it. I think that's a great point. Dave, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. What did you think about the speech last night?
Yeah, it was a little bit long-winded. I thought he was spot on the topics that he hit. The thing I don't like is the Democrats seem to vilify what Doge is doing, going after the waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government. Everybody knows that there's waste, fraud, and abuse, but when you call it out in specifics, the Democrats still seem to vilify what they're doing. But on the other hand, this government is not a political beach ball, and that's the way it's been treated for the last 2 or 3 decades. It's all about politics. It's got to be treated like a business, because if you don't treat it like a business, we're going to go broke. And that's why Trump is being fairly successful in what he's trying to accomplish. But I think that the left and even the right are afraid of what's going to happen, what he's going to find out, the graft that he's going to find out and expose some of these politicians. Really, there needs to be term limits and get rid of the old guard, period.
Dave, thank you for the phone call. And, I think that there is accountability coming, and I don't know that it's just going to be lumped into one category of politician. I think that everybody needs to have their eyes wide open. You make good points. I got 2 phone calls left. We're going to try to get to both of them, so we'll be quick here. Start with Margot. Margot, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. What did you think about the speech?
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And the Democrats proved beyond a shadow of a doubt they don't care about the American people. And they are beyond despicable. There was one person in the audience holding up a paddle saying, "I hate America." Okay, leave.
Oh, Margot, thank you for the phone call. I didn't see who that was.
I didn't see that one either. I saw a whole bunch of other ones. I didn't see that
I
one.
wonder if it was one of the memed ones.
It might have been somebody doctored it.
I saw one that somebody was holding up that said, "I farted."
Oh, there's a lot of places you could go with.
I think that one was a meme, but I haven't fact-checked it, though. Gene, last call before we take a wrap here. I wanted to get you in here. What'd you think of the speech?
Don't say last call.
Nope. Gene, it's you. You're on the air with us.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Hi. Annie, this is my second call to you.
Thank you.
I thought our president was outstanding. I thought he touched the hearts of Americans. He made us realize what we're going through and finally, hopefully, opening some people's eyes. I thought the people he introduced received. Those Democrats, the lady before me stated they ought to be run out of office. I agree with her totally. What are other countries thinking of us when we can't even stand for our own president, clap for our own president when they are doing those horrible, despicable things?
Gene, you hit the post, right? You hit the nail right there on the head. Thank you for calling. Your second call. Looking forward to your third one next time we open the phone lines. Margot, thank you for your call. Everybody, today, what a packed couple segments there of you, and that is the best. That's the best type of thing we can do on the show. Have that conversation. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Ukraine funding may be back on. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. After a conversation today between National Security Advisor Michael Waltz and the Chief of Staff to Ukraine's President Zelensky, in which they discussed plans for peace talks. Waltz telling Fox.
We are talking about a location, a date, a negotiating team.
Now the White House says it is reconsidering the president's pause in all military aid to Ukraine, according to White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. She also confirms the U.S. continues talks with Hamas about extending the ceasefire in Gaza. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called President Trump today looking for relief from the 25% tariffs imposed on Canada yesterday. The president says he told Trudeau Canada needs to do more to stop fentanyl from crossing its borders into the U.S. But the White House says there will be a 30-day pause in tariffs on automobiles imported under the existing trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. The Supreme Court has dealt the administration a setback in its efforts to cut spending from the U.S. Agency for International Development.
This is about foreign aid that was ordered to be paid out by a lower court judge. There were groups who take in USAID money, and they had gone and said, listen, this freeze is harming us. And they went to the district court judge, that lower court level, and he said, yes, the government has to pay this out. It went through the appeals, got to the Supreme Court. They, by a 5-4 vote today, say they won't put that judge's order on hold.
Fox's Shannon Bream reports the funding was for work that had already been done. A federal judge has blocked President Trump from carrying out steep cuts to federal grant funding for research, which universities and some Democrat-led states warn could lead to layoffs, lab closures, and curtailment of scientific and medical studies. An hour before the close, Wall Street rebounding from what had been a tough week. The Dow up 560 points, NASDAQ trading 283 points higher. America is listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay. Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or Avastin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Strong and gusty winds continue all afternoon with a wind advisory in effect until 6 o'clock. Some of the wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Also, there'll be bands of rain showers mixed with snow burst. You get caught in the burst, visibility goes down to 0 very quickly. 45 tonight, slow clearing, but still windy and cold, 29 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
RulerFoods.com. Shopping at Ruler Foods is a great way to save money. Who's passing on the opportunity to save money when you shop on groceries these days? We certainly aren't. Anytime we can make a big pass at Ruler Foods and fill our cart with fresh produce that's on sale, especially like the avocados on sale right now, 89 cents each, or strawberries in a 1-pound package, just $2.49 each. We are loading up on that fresh, delicious produce. We always tell our kids that fruits and vegetables they can eat without having to ask permission. If they're hungry, you can eat those. Just go pound them. That's fine with us. So we buy a lot of it, and saving on it and making sure it's still great quality, that's important for our household. You can also save on Kroger 80% lean ground beef in a 3-pound roll, $3.99 a pound. Kroger shredded or bar cheese, 8 ounces, 3 for $5. They also have dollar days right now. You can save, these are $1 each, on Campbell's Soup, Michelina's Dinners, Hunt's Manwich, or Starkist Tuna, Sparkling Ice, Banquet Pot Pies, or Kraft Mac and Cheese, and Kroger Skillet Meals. Save when you shop at Ruler Foods. Go online to rulerfoods.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and worried about market volatility and losses at this stage in your life? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you are 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you are 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid with no cost to you, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis and they get paid instantly. This is 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need and your caregiver gets paid instantly. Freedom Care has over 7,000 5-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's free to you through Medicaid, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-597-1749, 314-597-1749, 314-597-1749.
Want to retire in 5 years or less? You can do it, just like Lifestyles Unlimited member Lisa.
So we started passively. It was on vacation is when we realized we really need to take the plunge and be more active in this. Just because I'm an educator, I wanted to really know what I was doing. So it was just education on my part is really big. And I'm like, well, I could do that.
Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297, a 60% savings. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Brian Kilmeade here, and I'll be there on Saturday, March 22nd. Jot that down, at the Factory in Chesterfield in this engaging motivational journey through America's past. Tickets available at 971talk.com/events.
Sponsored by Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, we've been talking all about the joint address to Congress, and I feel like I could probably talk another hour about it, but at this point, okay, maybe there are people tuning in for the first time in the 2 o'clock hour and they haven't heard us discuss it, but boy, it's being talked quite a bit about. I think it's interesting to look at the Democrats' reaction. We haven't, as a show here, talked as much about how the Democrats behaved last night. I mean, those are all choices that they made. The Democrats weren't put in a tight spot, and it was unfortunate. Those were choices.
Right. So I tuned into the speech about 15 minutes in, and then I saw almost the rest of the
Did you see Al Green get bounced?
Yeah, I tuned in before that. But right when I turned it on, and I was watching on something that I didn't even know existed called Fox Raw. It was like C-SPAN, but Fox. And it was, there's no commentary. They're just
Sounds like a Bobby Kennedy initiative.
Right. T-Bone with
Brought
Bob
to you
Kennedy.
by Raw Milk and Beef Tallow.
I tuned in, and the minute I turned that thing on, all I heard was yelling. And I was like, is this what the first 15 minutes of this speech has been like? I mean, it was just constant yelling. And it lasted for 2 or 3 minutes before the Al Green thing became a thing. Although he was kind of cheerleading it, I think. So I didn't know if the whole speech before that had been
Leading up to that point,
ruckus?
It was ruckus. And then Mike Johnson stood up and started saying, he asked for order in the House. And there was no order. And then he said, if order is not to be established, I will invoke the Sergeant of Arms. And then order wasn't established, and he's like, take him away.
Yeah. Well, I saw J.D. Vance standing behind him, too, going, out,
give him the
out,
thumb to
out.
the back. Get out of here. Get out of here. Well, it's always fun to watch the Democrats react to their own disaster here. And here's a tweet from United States Senator John Fetterman. A sad cavalcade of cell phones and unhinged petulance. It only makes Trump look more presidential and restrained. We're becoming the metaphorical car alarms that nobody pays attention to, and it may not be the winning message.
My gosh.
And he's citing Politico, the headline, Giving Bingo. Democrats' silent protest again against Trump falls flat. Oh, jeez. Usually when I think I shouldn't say it, I just shouldn't say it.
But then I'm here to encourage you. Go ahead.
Henry, let me pass you a note. You
want to pass me a note in class?
And then you can say what you're thinking.
Okay. Usually the notes would say something like, do you like Stacy?
Check yes or no.
So let me know if that's what's coming here. Because the answer is no.
I don't want to say this. I want you to say this, and I want you to get the backlash.
Okay.
That are...
Okay. Here, I'll come get it. You almost done?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Oh, you're going to throw it to me?
Halfway. Make you do a little work. I mean, this is not what I think or anything. It's just... Ryan, how do you feel about what's going on? Why are they acting like this?
Quote.
No, hey, what are you talking about?
I mean, sorry.
No.
This is my own original thought. It's the women in the party that are ruining it.
Brad, that's a terrible thing to say.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
you can read my note.
Oh, that was Brad's?
Yeah, he
Brad
nailed it. To me.
Wow, Brad. The women were wearing the protest uniforms.
Think about it, though, for a second. In the Democrat Party, what's the worst thing you can be?
White male.
dude.
Correct. Who are the white
Adam Schiff.
Who are the white men leading the Democrat Party right now?
Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, I guess Fetterman, but he's not really leading them.
When you think, no, he's criticizing them.
Yeah.
When you think about what you saw last night, it's all the women. And they're all acting with this petulance. And I hate to say it, which is why I won't, but I'll quote Brad. It's like when you're in a relationship with a woman and she's in a mood. And you do things so that you don't get the blowback of the mood. You don't believe in it. You just know what's best for yourself. It's what they know, but it's not working anymore because Donald Trump don't care at all. He's like, wow, you're really in a mood today. Is it that time?
Brad, you've never been more right.
Do you need... I mean... It's the women, the great, great, great irony of the Democrat Party exemplifying the worst part of womanhood when they won't even acknowledge what a woman is. They're just moody and mad, and they're taking it out on you. That's the Democrat Party.
Those were the loudest voices last night, and I mean that metaphorically because I think they were also just maybe the loudest voices.
The shrill.
But I mean, Al Green was a part of that too. It wasn't just that the women were wearing these like protest suits like they did before. We talked about this. Remember? We said, I bet they wear something.
Of course they will. They always do.
And they did. And the problem is that it's so predictable at this point. And if it were Trump 1.0, there was a lot of energy. Oh, he didn't win the popular vote. He barely squeaked this. This is an accident. This is an American accident. But now we've been through not only a full term with him, we've been through a full term where he wasn't the president. And America decided overwhelmingly, speaking today's poll.
I was just going to say, what would you call that?
A mandate. To elect him again.
What if it was a woman date?
He's there because everybody saw both sides very clearly.
People made a choice.
And decided, I think we want to go this way. And to stand up that just ridiculously against it. It's not just the State of the Union. It's the screaming. It's the pulling your hair out. We get it. You don't like him. You don't like the policies. He makes you feel a certain way.
But the whole thing is like, what are you going to do about it?
But
and
you're
that's
not
my
doing
point.
anything.
The Democrat Party right now is a bunch of women who are in a mood and their husband is tiptoeing around them right now so that they stay out of trouble. But that doesn't solve any problems. It just actually gets worse.
America is realizing that. And maybe last night was that they were realizing in real time, oh, it's not just the random people on TikTok. It's not just these weirdos that get lifted up by, conservative media. It's actual Congress. These are the leaders of the party. These are supposed to be the thought leaders, and that's the best they've got.
They don't have any thoughts. They don't have any thoughts. There's nothing that they're offering that's an alternative. It's what I was kind of talking with our earlier guest. We had Deroy Murdock on and Kayleigh McEnany in the 12 o'clock hour. But when you don't like what Trump is doing or you don't like where he's heading and you say, well, what's the alternative? The alternative is just to hate Trump more and lock arms in your hatred for Donald Trump. And at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, together you hate Donald Trump, and then you have to do it again tomorrow. That sounds awful. I'm not interested in participating in that at all. It's not a solution. And I don't even want to talk about it too much because I don't want them to change their focus. This is a good strategy for the Republicans, the way the Democrats are behaving right now. And I'm trying to, Fetterman, I guess to the extent that we're quoting him on here, he's absolutely right when he's saying we become the metaphorical car alarms that nobody pays attention to. What is a car alarm that just goes off? It's annoying.
Yeah, nobody pays it. Everybody looks to it to make sure somebody's dealing with it. Not that they care. There's nobody going, oh, there's somebody needs to check that out. They're going, oh, great.
Yeah.
Somebody's pocket just hit real
You
hard.
probably know which driveway has the alarm that's going off again, and you understand the tone of it, and it's just annoying.
I wake
Nobody
up.
runs to give it attention.
No. In fact, people go, oh, God, here we go again. This morning I woke up and of course, was looking at X.
You were on my mind.
And I was thinking of you guys, my friends.
You talking to the listeners?
Yeah. Anybody who's listening right now, it's you and me. Just
Weird.
talking to you.
That's weird.
You and me in the car. I was looking at some of the influencers and just kind of seeing what the left influencers were saying, and they were just outraged as usual. But one of them, who I really love looking at, is John Cusack. Man, that guy is way far left.
See, that's the exact type of thing I don't want in my feed.
Oh,
I'm like,
I love reading John Cusack.
Your mood does not improve my mood.
Because he and his reaction this morning, and has been for 3 weeks, is, well, I know that last night they yelled loud, but they should have yelled louder.
Exactly.
That was where we messed up. We didn't yell loud enough, long enough.
Hopefully the Democrats, with their next $1 billion presidential campaign, use John Cusack as an advisor.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Have him be your consultant.
There is no solution.
Imagine Kamala Harris at that podium last night delivering her.
No, I can't do that.
Imagine it.
No.
Well, every single point in policy direction that Donald Trump has taken, we would have sprinted in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
It would be hopeless.
And we would have seen that a lot of her campaign promises, conversely, because Trump is following through on everything. All of Kamala's campaign promises were just lies. She wasn't going to secure the border. She wasn't going to build the wall.
No, clearly. That's for certain. Thank you, Jesus, for Donald Trump. I mean, I am thankful for Donald Trump. And last night he didn't. I said this. I think I said it either Monday or towards the end of last week. But usually, in my opinion, State of the Union Trump is the best Trump. He has had some very statesman-like performances, if you will, at this event. And last night was the most comfortable. I didn't, when Kamala Harris would talk, when Joe Biden would talk, last night, one of my children, not to be named, the oldest, he goes, "Hey, is this a speech that the last guy was all hyped up for last time?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Was it Biden? Wasn't he like super on something?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
We didn't even talk about that.
No, he didn't.
That we got done with that speech, and our collective, we were joking about it, but we all went, "Yeah, he did it. He gave a speech."
Yeah, but it was like on speed or something.
Yeah.
It was
the best version of Biden for sure.
Well, it was like they took him and they're like, "Oh, let's dial him up to 8," and someone tripped and like, "How about 12?"
Yeah,
and then he just did the whole thing in hyperspeed. It's so good to be back. It's so good to be here in this moment right now, and I want to enjoy it because we've earned the ability to sit here and enjoy it, but also to hold our representatives in government accountable to continue to fight for what has been voted for, what has been, if you ask me, mandated to Donald Trump. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is, does President Trump have a mandate from the American people, yes or no? Apparently, Representative Green was yelling, telling him he didn't have a mandate. That was what Green was saying while he was literally
raising Cain.
Raising Cain.
Yep. Yeah, go vote in the YouTube live chat poll and let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Point Pest Control, my friends who keep bugs out of my house. I am so grateful for them, and I'm encouraging you to make them your friends as well. I'm a quarterly paying customer of Point Pest Control. They come out to my house, very affordable and very helpful because we have no bugs. And I have 2 dogs in my house and 4 kids, and it's just I'm like always cleaning, and I can't believe that we don't have bugs in our house, but we don't. And that is because of Point Pest Control. You can hire them for your home as well at 636-798-0023. 636-798-0023. Now, you're going to have some ants creeping into your house. You always do. Seems like the weather gets warmer that one day, and then there's one ant. And then there are 10 ants. And then you're like, what? They're in a marching band here in my kitchen. How do I make this go away? Stop trying to do the store-bought stuff that makes them go away for 48 hours and then they come back and makes you really, really mad. You can call Point Pest Control, have them take care of the ant problem and every other problem that you have when you sign up for that quarterly plan, like the Frey House does, and it's my favorite thing to do. 636-798-0023. I have a bug-free home. Thank you to Point Pest Control. You can, too. Visit them online. It's Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
At the Williams residence, everything looked kind of the same from the outside. But inside, their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them. But for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Sell and Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, A-U-D-A-C-Y. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million? Or $1 million feel like $2 million? The key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. Discover how you could make money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class, Retirement Planning 101. Guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. free. If you've saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. If, like me, you haven't quite had the pedal to the metal the way you should, or if you've had the pedal to the metal the entire time, either way, give us a call. We can help you out. We'll take you wherever you are. 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for financial and tax architects.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. Hey, little lady, I know you're...
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We've talked a lot today about the speech. If you've missed it, all of our show is on a podcast. And podcasts, I don't need to explain to you where you can get podcasts from. And I think we live in a time where if you weren't sure, you would just Google it. But I would encourage you to go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY, and you can check out everything 97.1 there or anniefreyshow.com/podcast if you want to listen to a playlist of something you might have missed. You want to have a little fun this time around instead of talking more about how bad the Democrats behaved yesterday?
I think we should probably complain just a little bit longer.
Okay, you can go ahead. What do you want to complain about?
I thought that the Democrats' behavior was just atrocious.
Ooh, interesting take.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the State of the Union last night?
No, it was the joint address to Congress.
Oh, that's right. I turned on State of the Union, and I think I was watching it from his first term.
You might have watched the wrong thing.
I think I did. I thought he kept saying a lot about...
On second hand, the Democrats behaved wonderfully.
Yeah, no, it was the same.
They kept standing and clapping all the time. And Joe Biden was there.
Yeah. Why was Joe Biden at the State of the Union last night?
People are sharing old person habits they've adopted that have made life so much better. Old person is in quotations.
Old person could mean whatever the beholder chooses.
Yeah, the author's name is Hannah, so just take that for what it is.
Okay.
Hannah's listening right now going, hey.
Hey. But you know what? But if her name was Donna, you'd say, well, she's probably a little older.
Donna's out there right now also offended. Hannah's and Donna's alike.
There are no babies born being named Donna right now.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
I wonder what the average age of the Donna is.
That's my point.
Lap blankets. They said I got a heated blanket last year for Christmas for myself. And it's amazing. I don't have to switch out the blankets by which one is warmer. I can set the blanket to whatever heat level is right, and I'll be toasty. I will say that with age, the quality of blanket that I use gets elevated. Because when you're young and you're broke, you just use whatever is a layer.
Mm-hmm. He's used the pelt of a buffalo.
Might be a towel.
Yep.
Actually, beach towel.
I hate to say this, but I still like sleeping on a towel.
Excuse me, what?
I like covering my pillow with a towel and laying my head on that pillow, on that surface. It just feels kind of like it itches you a little bit. Oh, man. I forget to do it, but, man, when I do, it's great. I don't go to bed with wet hair a lot, but when I do.
You don't have hair.
It's down here I do.
No, you
It's
don't.
not on top.
But when I do?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's great. I can't believe I'm the only one who likes sleeping on a towel.
You just said that you like it so much that you forget to do it.
I forget to do it because I don't shower at night a lot, and that's when I remember.
Do you shower in the morning?
Yeah.
I was just checking.
Shower in the morning. I shower middays.
Number 2, taking off my shoes at the door and stepping straight into my slippers. You got slippers?
I have slippers. I don't ever wear slippers.
You got a robe.
I do have a robe.
Do you use that robe I gave you?
I have worn the robe many times, especially over Christmas break. I was wearing it all the time.
Like because it was convenient and comfy and cozy?
And I was
or
just
because
home. Yeah, I was home more.
Like a house coat?
Yeah. You know what's great is it's real heavy, that house coat you got me, or whatever it's called, the robe.
It's a robe.
But it kind of dries you too, so you could take a bath and legitimately step into that thing, and that's all you needed.
It was a robe from the Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios because Ryan is a big Twilight Zone fan. Big Hollywood Studios fan.
I am that too.
Did you have a robe?
I don't think so.
Have you ever had a robe?
Are
you kind of new to the robe game?
Yeah, I'm new to the robe game.
And you're buying in?
Yeah.
You need some nice, embroidered slippers. I was going to say embezzled.
Need some nice embezzled slippers?
That's different. I mean, do whatever you can.
Embezzle some.
You know where I got these slippers? Bob Menendez. Yeah, that's right.
You're just looking for
Solid
gold bars.
And you know where he got them? Egypt.
Egyptian slippers. Sounds nice. You could probably get those from the pillow guy. So do you have slippers?
I do. I just don't wear them.
Why not?
I don't know.
Are they slip-on? Are they loafers? What are they?
What's the difference between loafers and slip-ons?
I can't have the rest of this conversation with you. You are disqualified. Brad, are you a slipper guy?
No.
Do you judge slipper people?
A little bit.
Do you judge slipper men?
It's just a little bit extra work.
It is. It's another step, and I'm not that uncomfortable.
Yeah, just step out of your shoes.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Exactly.
But slippers are so comfortable.
Yeah, but so is not wearing anything around the house.
I don't know that they are.
You wouldn't. You're not a slipper guy.
No, I've tried them, didn't like them.
You did try them?
Mm-hmm.
When?
Yeah.
When you were 4 and they were Superman?
No, whenever I lost a bunch of weight, my feet and hands would get really cold. And so I got some slippers because I didn't want my feet getting cold, and I would wear them. And then I'm like, this just isn't worth it.
See, that's an emotional story about when you lost weight. For me, I tried to use slippers after I found out that I had cystic fibrosis. And
you're making a CF joke that nobody can laugh at. I'm calling you out. Not for the CF, but for you being you.
It was a tough time in my life.
My heart goes out to you.
And the slippers did not ease my emotional pain.
Oh my God.
So I don't wear them.
That's all you. I got nothing to do with that.
I painted you into a corner.
No, you
and I
didn't.
enjoyed
I'm calling
it.
you out.
I like it.
I'm calling you out.
I like where I've put you.
Number 3, not caring about my looks or body image. Do you feel like you care less about your presentation, your physical self presentation now in your 50s, Ryan, than you did earlier in your life?
I think I care a little more, actually, because I have to. Back then, I was just so hot. And just naturally, you just wake up and you just kind of shake your head, and then you're ready to go. Put on your overalls. But just overalls, no shirt under them.
What are you talking about?
And you just
Leave
ready
the one
for
strap undone.
you're just ready for work, Now
What, on the farm?
No, it was
tossing
stylish.
hay bales,
Stylish.
chopping wood.
That's what I worked.
Have you ever worn overalls in your life?
That's the only thing I wore when I worked at Joy FM. It was just overalls, no shirt under them.
He did it for the calendar.
Why don't you work there anymore? You're gonna get in trouble. But it was just Ryan in the calendar. It was every month. for the show.
You just walk up and hand it out to people. It wasn't even official.
Check out my calendar.
And then he came here and we're like, yeah, we'll hire anybody.
We took all the photos on the same day. It's all my overall. That's my overall day. But different times of day, though. You can tell this one's early. That's about dusk. I'm just kind of looking into the camera. Other times I'm looking off the camera. Every month's different.
My mascara in my eyes.
But that was then. Now that I'm older, I feel like I got to focus more on my clothing. That's why you see me wear, all these nice shirts. You don't really see my bottoms very much. But
Thank goodness.
But I walk in half the time now and Annie's like, "That's a nice blouse." I'm like, "Thank you." I don't call it that. That's what we call it on the male side.
You totally wear slippers.
Slippers are an extra step. Here's another question. Do you wear pajamas when you get home? Like, do you I got to get into the comfy clothes? Are you okay wearing this?
If I'm not going out, I'm getting in comfy clothes, bra off, watch off, where I can clean, I can do whatever at home, but that is I'm getting into comfort zone quickly. Which brings me to, I'm going to skip a few here, but number 7 is comfy pants, comfy shoes. Life's too short for uncomfortable pants and shoes.
No, I agree, but I'm not uncomfortable in the clothes I'm wearing. Do you change when you go home?
I do. Yeah,
Man,
I throw the sweatpants on.
My wife cannot believe that when I go home, I'm not off with the jeans, on with the sweatpants. I'm wearing this all day.
She has to dress professionally.
Yes.
So she probably, unlike
when we first got
other
married,
people
yeah, it
that
was the overalls.
might be in the house.
She was like, "I can't believe you just keep wearing those overalls." I'm like, "Oh, I'm hot, and I got to swing this hammer." I cut that wood. Uh-huh.
You mean an axe?
No. Back then, we were so poor, we had to burn wood just to stay alive. And also, we had no tools. I just used a hammer to cut all the wood.
Ignoring the clock, eating when I'm hungry, sleeping when I'm tired. Oh, the days when I can just sleep when I'm tired.
Yeah,
if I could sleep when I was tired, I probably wouldn't be tired.
Yeah, that would make sense. You would stop being tired because you would have slept.
Normal people times. I wonder how long it takes people who are retirees to adjust to not having a schedule. I bet you still wake up when I wonder if that's the best feeling when you retire, and if you always got up at 6 a.m., you probably still wake up at 6 a.m., but then you're like, I can just lay here and do nothing. Is it frustrating that you don't sleep past 6 a.m., or is it like Christmas morning every morning when you wake up at 6 a.m. and you go, I don't have to go to work today? That might be lovely.
I don't know the answer to that. Never lived that life.
Number 5, moderate breakfast, moderate lunch, and light dinner for better sleep.
What? No.
You're not looking forward to that.
This is the opposite of what I want to do.
Yeah. I want to gorge myself every time I have an opportunity.
I enjoy spending time in a peaceful and quiet home instead of partying. I much, much, much prefer still at home.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm ashamed of that. Like when we get a date night, my wife and I, a lot of times we just go shopping and then we come home and then we watch something. It's not a great date, but it also is a great date. We're not doing anything. And we don't have to worry about kids screaming or getting anybody anywhere. We're just alone.
All weekend errands are done before noon to beat the crowds. If I can't get there before then, I'll wait. I don't know what that's like.
Say that again?
These are, again, habits of old people, in their quotes, that younger people are adopting. Weekend errands are done before noon to beat the crowds. If I can't get there before then, I'll wait. So trying to get your errands done, get up, get going, get it done so you don't have to be there during the hustle and bustle of the afternoon.
I get the lifestyle choice to do that. I think the worst crowds are at 10:30, though. So getting it done before noon, I don't think that beats the crowds.
Who does most of the errands in your house? Or is it split?
Yeah, it's pretty split, and it depends on the day. But grocery shopping and running to get little things, that's me.
Going to eat at a nice restaurant at the reasonable, non-busy hour of 4:30 p.m.
Actually, that's pretty fun. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Why?
Because it's not busy.
14, this is again habits of elderly people, old people, that younger people are adopting. Number 14, I turn the closed captioning on anything I watch on TV. That is like a young person thing. And I think that they're so used to watching videos on their devices without having the sound on that they're just used to having closed caption on. Are you a closed caption person?
No. Well, on a device, yes, because I don't want to listen to it. But if I'm watching TV, if I'm watching a movie or a TV show, I hate subtitles because then I watch that instead of watching the movie. It drives me crazy watching things with subtitles. If the sound's on, if it's off, you just have it on, that's different.
We turned them on halfway through our last, was it maybe like October when we started watching Harry Potter, the series, for the first time ever. Our family had not watched it. We watched all the way through. We got halfway through and the subtitles were on because my kids watch subtitles, and it made it so much easier to understand. There's a lot of things in Harry Potter that we were like, what? So then we went back and we watched it again, and we watched the subtitles the whole time. And I was glad we did it. I understood the movie more.
Well, okay. If you're getting lost in dialogue.
Number 15, abiding by the idea that there's always room for ice cream. At least according to my grandparents. Both sets of my grandparents. Ice cream at the ready.
Yeah,
like a Prairie Farms carton of Neapolitan.
Oh, you mean at home?
I mean, there would be dairy. I remember going with my dad's parents. They were big Dairy Queen people. I'm going to call my husband out here. We were at a basketball game in Raymond, Illinois last week, and we had a car full of girls who went to watch this basketball game with us. And on the way home, we got Dairy Queen ice cream. And he ordered a peanut butter parfait, and I go, "Okay, old man." that's like the oldest man Dairy Queen dessert I think you can get. And he felt judged, but he didn't change his order.
Is a banana split in that category?
That sounds more like a kid thing. Just
no, kids don't want the fruit.
To you, I think, Ryan, just because I know you a little bit, that's probably the biggest quantity that you can get of anything on that menu.
I think a large Blizzard may, because it's dense.
That's like
it's a little
vat.
more dense. Yeah, I think the large Blizzard is my choice. Well, why not just
Do you
get a
get
full
large
10-inch
Blizzard?
cake
And a fork?
on your way
Or a
home?
spoon?
Yeah.
I just need a little snack.
What size Blizzard do you get when you order?
Oh, large every time.
Are you serious, Brad?
Yeah.
What is the small one? The micro, the mini?
Oh,
That
the
one?
micro is like a thimble.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Thimble.
Don't do that.
Whatever the small one
The
is.
large one is like a popcorn bucket from the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. In fact, sometimes if you bring your own bucket, they don't ever do that. I tried.
I get a small.
Okay.
All right. Carrying ibuprofen?
Yeah.
You never know when you might need it.
Yeah, I hate to say that.
An ibuprofen. Are you a pre-gamer?
Yeah.
Ibuprofen pre-gamer?
Yeah.
That's a moment. When you're like, today's going to be rough. I should take some ibuprofen. You're on the other side of some hill.
The first time I ever heard that term was with you at a theme park.
Pre-gaming?
Pre-gaming the ibuprofen. Yeah.
That's true. Then we walked 30,000 steps and we hadn't slept in 48 hours.
And
So,
you were like, see?
did it
Like,
help?
yeah, well, you're right. I did pregame. Yeah.
All right. There's a few more here. Let's take a quick break. We'll get the results to today's YouTube live chat poll. And you want to let us know what you think. Does President Trump have a mandate from the American people? Yes or no? You got to get your vote in. Be heard after last night's speech. How you feeling about it? You can leave your comments there as well. Kenton says, big mandate. Trump won all swing states and made history with overwhelming support from African Americans and Hispanics. This election showed that more than half of the country wanted common sense back. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back. Michael's Flooring Outlet is online. Their website is igotfloored.com. But if you're looking to find Michael's Flooring Outlet, the locations that they have across the St. Louis area, they're easy to find in St. Charles County, Main Street in Old Town St. Peters, at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. You can shop at their Dardine Prairie location, very easy to find, or in West County and Olive Boulevard, just a mile off 270 West on Olive. Michael's Flooring Outlet is the name in flooring here in St. Louis. They serve both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois. Michael's Flooring Outlet is happy to be your one-stop shop for everything that has to do with flooring. That includes both residential and commercial purchases. So if you're looking to refresh the flooring in your home, maybe you finished the basement and you want to put some carpet down there to warm it up a little bit, make it comfy and cozy to hang out with the family, lay on the floor with the grandkids, whatever it might be, check out the Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpeting. The beautiful quality, superior performance of this carpet is going to refresh that space and make it incredibly homey, comfortable. It's going to smell great. I love the smell of fresh carpet. Shop online with Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can request an estimate. You can see the products that they have, read reviews. It's all there at igotfloored.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and I want you to beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. If you missed out on earlier specials, this is the time to get your home freshly cleaned, the carpets, the floors, maybe even the upholstery. Zero Res removes winter's lingering grime, preparing your home for hopefully brighter days ahead. And spring, let's face it, is a time for renewal. So let Zero Res help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. For that, you want to do the ductwork. And here's the offer for the month of March. 3-room Zero Resified from St. Louis's #1 carpet cleaner, starting at $119. Also, take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy air. So book right now at 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com and say you want the 97.1 FM Talk special. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res. Book today at ZeroResSTL.com. Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is, does President Trump have a mandate from the American people, yes or no? Let us know what you think about this question. You still have a few minutes to get your vote in. Ethan will give you the results of this poll in just a couple of minutes. YouTube live chat poll, you find it by typing in Annie Frey on YouTube. $2.50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon getting set to go here on a very windy and gloomy Wednesday afternoon in St. Louis. Reaction to the speech last night, which is all over the place, as you might imagine. Charles Lipson will get us started at 3:25. We got to cover the mayor's race in St. Louis and a whole lot more. We get rolling here after Fox News at 3.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Do you ever wonder whatever happened way back when? Or if I see you again, baby, do you ever wonder? Oh, you might wish things could change. I know this might sound strange, but I think I'm in love with you. I didn't know it at the time. I know what I want to do. It's making me lose my mind. Thought about thinking it through, and every time I do, I find I want to make your dreams come true. I think I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So if y'all watched the speech last night, took a lot of great phone calls in the 1 o'clock hour. Thank you for everybody who reached out to us. Those were some really fantastic calls. A lot of first-time caller, long-time listener. That's always fun to hear.
Yeah, and they were fired up.
Did you ever call in a radio show before you were a radio guy?
I think I called into the point once or twice when I was a teenager.
What for?
I probably requesting songs.
Real or fake?
Yeah. I don't even know what that is.
Yes. News.
Oh. Just like how we do be or not to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually wanted to do the be or not to be a long time ago and call it real or fake, but anyway. What'd you call into the point, like to win tickets or something?
I know I've won tickets before. I don't remember. I just remember calling in and thinking it was cool to request songs and see if they played them.
Ethan, did you ever call?
I never called, but I entered into a contest last year.
Real or fake?
No, it was a Win Cardinals tickets contest, and I won it. And
Did you say last year?
Yeah. And I kind of felt bad because I was
Did you
like,
work there?
Yeah. Were you eligible to win?
Yeah, it was through 101 ESPN. I just kind of happened to be flipping through, and they're like, "Text this for a chance to win like Cardinals tickets." I was like, "Why not? It's kind of funny." And then I won. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
There is a story from when I used to work at MS, who is the company that owned 97.1 before we now are owned by Odyssey, and as I recall, the president, I think, of the company of MS. WIBC in Indianapolis, news talk station. MS's headquarters were in Indianapolis Indianapolis, I think, for quite some time. He called into the competitor's radio station to win a prize, and he won it. He was the president of the main competitor, and it was a boat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Wow.
I think that was Jeff Smullian. I think.
Like a full, what kind of boat?
I don't want the details to be wrong, but I think it was like a speedboat or something.
If it was an old rowboat, that's one thing.
Well,
somebody's dilapidated paddle boat.
Would that be happening, Ryan?
My mom,
maybe.
My mom called in a couple years after they got married and won a trip to Hawaii on the air, on the radio, which is pretty cool.
Why don't we give anything away like that?
Well, we'll tell you off the air. We do. We give away some cool things.
We give ours to NGOs, and they kind of circle back around to the people.
That's not true.
I think Ryan
That's
is
terrible and not accurate. That is a joke about a current situation that is not accurate about this show or station or anybody affiliated with me. If you want to investigate anyone, Ryan Wiggins.
It is something that I would love to try.
Stop! No, there's laws against that. You're a goofball. Stop it.
I'm just joking.
You've been a little bit silly
from
this
Cash
hour.
Patel.
Yeah.
FCC. There's one way of getting him on the air.
YouTube live chat poll for today: does President Trump have a mandate from the American people? Yes or no, Ryan?
Yes, he absolutely does.
Brad?
Oh yeah.
Yes. If you are looking at the results of the election and you're seeing how overwhelming the electorate said, we choose you, Donald Trump, there are not really many places at all that you can look where they didn't go, yeah, we'll go Trump. Maybe some places in a smaller margin, but they all went that way.
Yeah.
Donald Trump told us exactly what he wanted to do when he was running for office. He was very open and honest about it, and America chose him. So I say emphatically, yes, he has a mandate. Go do what you said you were going to do. Even if it's complicated, go do it. Ethan, results?
311 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Does President Trump have a mandate from the American people? This one not very close today. 92% say yes, only 8% saying no.
Awesome. Well, I agree with the majority, that's for certain. Mark Reardon, I'm sure, has a lot of thoughts about last night, and you're about to get to listen to him right here on 97.1 FM Talk, The Mark Reardon Show, coming up next.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Hopefully you've heard me talk about Triton before, and you know that I'm good friends with their owner, Tim, that I love their commitment to customer service. Tim comes from the restaurant business, and so he is completely focused on your happiness. The answer is yes. What's the question? Also, we're not just your average contractor. We're your neighbor. We're proudly based in Shrewsbury. We deliver stunning exteriors with James Hardie Siding. So why James Hardie? Why is that a big deal? Well, it's the #1 brand for durability, curb appeal, and the best-in-class return on investment. As part of the James Hardie Alliance, we bring expert craftsmanship and a personal touch to every project. Your home deserves the best, and with Triton Exteriors and James Hardie, that's exactly what you're going to get. For roofing, siding, gutters, or fences, call 314-717-1159 or go to triton-stl.com, 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
I have been using Andrea sauce for a long time, but I've been using it a lot recently because it is a safety net. I've been trying some different things at home, and I know that if I screw it up, if I had Andrea's on it, it's probably going to be fine. The other day, I had a bunch of hamburger meat and asked the kids if they wanted hamburgers, and they said yes, so I started making them and realized I had no buns. So we invented something called hamburger bites where I just poured Andrea's into the ground beef and just kind of mixed it up and then made little bitty hamburgers. And if you name them, your kids don't know that it's not intended to be a thing. So that was great. And because they had Andrea's, like, I don't have to do anything else. My dad was like, you put anything else on it? No, it was just meat and Andrea's sauce. And the kids love them. They don't even put any other sauce on them. That's how good Andrea's is. And again, it's my safety net because I know if I screw it up, if it's got that, then it's going to be fine. We actually ran out of Andrea's, so I encourage you to go where I went to Schnucks. Also, Deerberg's carries at other great stores or at andreas.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living, where your loved one will enjoy chef-prepared meals, engaging activities, state-of-the-art technology, and a welcoming community that feels like home. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. New Perspective, where every day is a chance to live life on purpose.
At Smile Train, we understand that most children with clefts need a little extra care to help them grow healthy and strong. Visit smiletrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
KFT.
Speaking of delivering for the American people, President Trump makes his triumphant return, of course, tonight, as was mentioned. It's 5 years after his last State of the Union address. This is a joint address to Congress, not a State of the Union, because a State of the Union is typically delivered on or around the sort of the 1 year anniversary, first year in office. But this president is working so quickly, I invited him to come early in the process to give this joint address because there's so much to report to the people. And we're delighted he's going to be there.
Yeah, just like Speaker Johnson said there, it isn't the State of the Union, it's a joint address because he is in a position to be giving it the first time for the second term, which is non-sequential, complicated. It's going to look like a State of the Union. And honestly, 6 weeks into this presidency, there is a lot to talk about regarding how President Trump has affected the State of the Union. Let's get to our guest. Joe Concha is with us right now. Of course, a Fox News contributor. His book, The Greatest Comeback Ever Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign, is coming up. We're in March, which means it's 1 month away. Joe, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Always a pleasure to be here, Amy. How are you on this fine State of the Union Tuesday? By the way, can we call it State of the Union? Not this joint session to Congress.
It's just for nerds. People who are like, actually, yes, exactly. I agree with that.
He hasn't been in office for the last year, so it has to be called, shut up. It's a State of the Union. Sorry.
I completely agree with you on that. Give me your thoughts on The idea of renewing the American dream is what he's supposed to talk about tonight. In the meantime, we've got Justin Trudeau, Governor Trudeau, if you ask President Trump, calling President Trump Donald. Zelensky is saying maybe I'm going to come back to the table because he says it was regrettable. There's a lot going on in one individual day here.
When it came time to take things to the next level, I knew that I had to make a website, and Wix was perfect for that.
Yeah, the governor of Trumpsylvania, the 51st state of Canada. He's really been vocal on his way out the door, hasn't he? Real tough guy now. This goes back to what we heard during the inauguration as far as the golden age of America and just optimism, which we don't hear from Democrats in any way, shape, or form. All I'm reading today now is that they're going to have maybe noisemakers, or they're all going to wear Ukrainian-colored ties in solidarity with Vladimir Zelensky. What are you in solidarity with this guy about exactly? I mean, it looks like he's about to go dressed to go raise the roof at a club in Istanbul, all right, when he shows up to the Oval Office, for starters. And then he had this deal, this great deal. Raw minerals, we have corporate boots on the ground. That is the security guarantee. America's not going to let anything happen to all of our interests there as far as Russia, and the Europeans would provide military equipment on top of that. This ends this war that no one wants anymore, and Zelensky's got to go in there and pick a fight. And now it sounds like he's going to come back to the negotiating table, or not negotiating, just sign the damn thing already,
right,
and we'll be good to go. So overall, you look at these first 6 weeks of the Trump presidency, Annie, and it's success after success. When you take away all the noise as far as finding all this waste, fraud, and corruption through Doge, but more importantly, the U.S. southern border. I always heard from Kamala Harris and Joe Biden that Congress needed to act, and we needed this big bill in order to pass. All I know is we had 10,000 crossings a day under Biden at one point, and now we're almost down to virtually zero, just by the president saying don't come and sending a couple thousand troops down there, and that's what did the trick. So that's going to be a big story tonight, obviously.
I think watching, we played the whole exchange here on our show because it was just so wild to watch the exchange between Zelensky and Trump in the Oval Office. Zelensky continuing to talk over. Nobody wanted to let anybody speak, but you're in the Oval Office. You're in the President of the United States office there. It was so bizarre to watch all of that. And, days removed now from that event, knowing that they had the deal ready to sign and the sandwiches to go with it for lunch, waiting in the room next to the Oval Office. I'm watching the Democrats, really react negatively to this because they're pro-Zelensky, which is ironically not necessarily pro-American.
Yeah.
What do they want what do they want this president to do for Ukraine that America hasn't already done beyond really our means to be able to adhere to it?
$350 billion spent so far, $100 billion of it we can't even account for. So Democrats are pro-waste, fraud, and corruption, apparently, and no accountability. No, it's not that they want Trump to do anything for Ukraine. They want him to fail. So if Trump achieves a
beyond really our means to be able to adhere to it.
$350 billion spent so far, $100 billion of it we can't even account for. So Democrats are pro-waste, fraud, and corruption, apparently, and no accountability. No, it's not that they want Trump to do anything for Ukraine. They want him to fail. So if Trump achieves a peace deal, that's very bad for the Democratic Party. Not for the world, not for the Ukrainian people, not for the Russians, and not for the Europeans, and not for the American people. It's bad for Democrats. So reflexively, they take this stand like they're standing up against this stupid line. They keep saying over and over again, they're standing up for democracy in Ukraine. That is not a democracy. You're literally seeing men pulled out of restaurants, pulled out of their homes, and being forced to the front line lines. And meanwhile, we haven't heard elections being held there in 3 years because Zelensky knows that if there is an election, good chance he loses. So overall, yeah, you got to have good faith brokering here. And Zelensky had a 2-inch putt here. Just sign that agreement. Then we could talk about security guarantees through having American investments in your country. And you end this war and you save perhaps hundreds of thousands of lives, over the 100,000 lives that have already been lost. I'm not saying that Zelensky is the bad guy here. Putin was the bad guy. But the reality is they're not leaving the Donbass region, eastern Ukraine. Unfortunately, that has to go to Russia because they're not going to leave, and there's no military way to get them out of there. So give them that. Ukraine gets a great investment deal with us, and they don't get to join NATO because that's what provoked this whole thing in the first place. And that's the end of it because no one wants this war anymore. Zelensky still thinks it's 2022, and the American media are completely on his side. Some are, yes, but this ain't 2022 anymore because people know what a stalemate looks like and smells like, and that's exactly what this is, and we don't want to have any more American money going there anymore.
We've seen the entire time that Donald Trump has been on the political scene, the Democrats salivating over trying to tie Donald Trump to Putin and to Russian interests. Nobody loves and needs the Russian situation and scenario more than the Democratic Party right now, the people who only care about politics, never care about policy. The tying Donald Trump to Putin is the only thing that matters to this crazy wing of the Democratic Party, and they're willing to put
made to light up the room.
Remember the first time we came here?
Yeah. Made to bring out that sparkle only you have. Made to be passed down for generations. Made to shine.
War in priority over Americans' best interest here in order to continue the ruse so that Donald Trump looks bad. How does Donald Trump respond to that tonight at this joint address to Congress / State of the Union and going on here?
He should say, you know what? We should have a special counsel, and we should have a former FBI director like Robert Mueller. We should give him millions of dollars and thousands of resources to investigate whether I have any ties to Vladimir Putin. Oh, that's right. We already did that. We already did that for 3 years during the first presidency. The fact they keep going back to this, he's a Putin puppet. I'm telling you, this tells you that we have a Democratic Party that has no message, all right, around inflation, because we saw that over the last 4 years, around crime, certainly didn't have anything around the border. They're apparently a pro-war party now because they want the war to go on in Ukraine in perpetuity. And overall, who's their leader? Like, who's leading this party? Is it Jasmine Crockett? Because you want to see a lot more of her if you're a Republican. That's certainly for sure. Is it AOC? Is it Chuck Schumer? Is it who? Goofy Tim Walz, who's entertaining a presidential run? They don't have a leader. They don't have a message, and they don't have anything optimistic about the country. So they could do all their protesting they want as they like with noisemakers or walking out during Trump's speech. That didn't reflect well on Nancy Pelosi at all when she did that during the last State of the Union that Trump had, and it won't reflect well now. And by the way, if Trump says something along the lines that Democrats in the Senate refuse to back, 45 of them, enough to kill it, women competing against men in sports, that being a bad thing, if they somehow object to that or boo, go ahead. Because you're on the 20 side of an 80-20 issue. There's just no common sense on that side of the aisle anymore. It's really remarkable to watch.
Yeah, you're completely right. Speaking with Joe Concha right now, the Russia story is the in case of emergency break glass, and then you pull out the latest Russia hoax that you can come up with. Donald Trump knows that. Watching the joint address tonight, we expect that maybe some Democrats won't show up. Maybe some Democrats will show up in, they'll have to pick which Ukraine blue and yellow outfit that they wear to support Ukraine over the United States tonight. What do you expect to see from the opposition party at this joint address this evening?
Some said they will not show up, so they'll boycott it. And okay, great. You don't see them. They're out of sight, out of mind, I suppose. I'm seeing that Hakeem Jeffries is saying, let's not do any noisemakers. Let's not heckle the president. If they do that, they'll look immature. And as usual, they're allowing their emotions to get to them. But more importantly, they'll look like the party that's taking their cues from MSNBC at this point. And that's not what you want to do, because at this point, MSNBC, I think, has more employees than actual viewers. So, that message is gone, right? I mean, there never was one, really. Yeah, I mean, if it's just to resist, and they think, again, this is 2017, and if they scream loud enough that that's going to have some sort of negative impact on Trump, the problem is they're on the wrong side of almost every major issue. And when that happens, and the American people still, support Donald Trump 50, 51, 52% approval, which is his all-time high, they're going to look stupid, they're going to look immature, and they're going to look like a party that isn't offering anything in terms of a tangible solution while not even be able to have a conversation, instead acting like, it's sophomore year and it's well past their curfew at this point.
Joe, before we let you go, we have a poll every day on the show. We ask our YouTube audience to go vote in it. And today is grade the State of the Union, the state of the country. Granted, a lot of people are making sure that we understand that it started as an F before Donald Trump took over. What do you think about the state of the country right now?
State of the country is improving, right? We mentioned the border before. This war in Ukraine could be ending as well. So that's all good. And we just see overall more Americans are optimistic about the next 4 years than certainly they were during the last 4. So the state of our union is strong, but until some real laws are passed, besides executive orders, it is one that is still in flux. And it is a state of the union, Annie, that is hopelessly divided.
That is absolutely the case. Well, we look forward to talking to you again. Pretty soon that book of yours is going to be come out, and the greatest comeback ever, materializing now in front of our eyes as the president is going to deliver that address tonight. We look forward to following you on X and getting all your hot takes.
Thanks, Annie.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Joe Concha on X at Joe Concha TV. A great follow. He is always very pithy with his remarks, but also paying a lot of attention to how the media is reacting and kind of keep the temperature of the room by following Joe Concha TV on X. His book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign, will be available in April.